Okay, so today I'm going to continue my little square off Lit Chess Classical series, and so the point is I'm trying to get to 2000. If I fall below 16, still 1600, but if I win the next game, it could take me over 1750. I'm like 1728 now. I wish I could show some of that. I'll find a way to do it, but you might say, oh, just put it on part of the screen, like put it on the side, but I feel like the way my webcam is so shitty and the resolution, everything is so bad that if I do that, it'll make it even more unclear and it doesn't really work the way I imagine it. But we were having some technical difficulties. I won't blame this entirely for it, but certainly there are certain things you have to account for. Like if you drag a piece, it'll make the wrong move. Or I made a notable mistake yesterday where I well, I had an amazing comeback in one of those games actually, where I really thought I was going to lose, and I somehow drew it. That's got to be one of my best comebacks, in fact, probably ever. See the sliding of the pieces, which is kind of a fault of my position, maybe a little bit because it's sort of hanging off the table, the little UI sign that lights up. But no, the point is that I'm doing a touch move rule, so if I touch a piece, I have to move it. That kind of messed me up, so I have to be more careful about that, especially at the beginning. There's always a temptation to blitz out the opening, but there's no reason to do it. Even if you do know what you're doing, just be careful, you know. I've fallen for like the fried liver almost, where I'm not understanding the sequence of moves. I've done it a million times where it's not an issue, but like you move out the bishop first and then the knight last. Right, if you move out the knight first, then they can bring their knight when they already have their bishop, and then now your knight's already there, like, and it can't come back to cover the square. Like it could go here to here and cover it, the square that's being double attacked. But so I guess you just move the knight last would be potentially the answer. So I'll do a rapid game just to test it, like an unrated rapid game. Then I'll do a rapid, a classical rated game. But the whole point is that, yeah, I generally like it, but it does have some issues here and there. Like I said, I moved the rook first to try to castle, and that's a big no-no because then it registers that, oh, you just moved the rook there, which I kind of understand that, but you know, it maybe was a little unforgiving with that, and that's one intricacy. And also, don't drag pieces, otherwise it might register a move that you dragged it to. Like, it'll go to the square you drag it to instead of. And also when you capture, pick up the piece you're capturing, and then, right, like I'm doing this company's work for them. It should say these tips on there somewhere, maybe. These are the 3 rules. When you castle, move the king first, right? Move the king there, because, or wherever it's got to go, because otherwise it'll register the rook move if you simply move the rook to f1 there, for example. Right, so always move the king first when you castle. Always pick up the piece you're capturing first, get rid of it, and then put your piece on there. Otherwise, if you clash them, it'll confuse it and potentially cause problem. And also, you are trying to I actually don't know how promotion works. Even though I did it, it's like it took me time to, I almost had to press something on the phone app, which I'm not sure that you should really have to do. But what was the third thing? The fact that if you well, I'm just doing the touch move roll, that's just my own thing, but there was one other thing. Move the king first when you castle, pick up the piece you're capturing first before you move your piece to capture it. And there was one other piece of advice that's like, oh yeah, just don't drag pieces. This is my own little patented piece of advice because I don't think it really tells you these things anywhere. See, I would rather you admit the flaws of it, and or even whatever the accounting that you have to do for it. Maybe all these systems are like that. I can understand if you're sliding the piece and chess up, it might do the same thing, right? Because it's touching every square. So how does it know, right? And it can ask you to verify every single move, but that would be a whole nother headache. So I can understand it, but I would respect it more if it just tells you that up front. Like, okay, here are some problems you might run into. Like I'm play testing it for them. And I'm telling you, you know, this is, I don't mean to rag on it. I actually kind of like it, but again, it does the bare minimum feature, which a lot of these do, like chess up. So even better ones only do that, though. The only ones I distinguish is like, there's like the chess up category with stuff like this. So if you get this cheaper, then why not just do that? But the chess up category is where it makes your move online, right? So I'll move my piece and it'll make it online for me, and it'll light up their move, so you don't have to look at the screen or the phone or whatever. But it doesn't move their pieces magnetically the way that the next tier of these kind of things would do, as some of them do, like chestnut, I guess, and some other ones. Um, and then I guess the in between, like, oh, pay an extra $100 for chestnut. Why? Because not because it has the magnets, but because it has It's so weird to me that this thing actually does have magnets, though. Oh, I guess not with the other side pieces, but they stick together and stuff. See, like, why does it do that if they're not moving on their own? But no, my point was that like, oh, Chess Up has a screen on there, so you could queue up for games directly on the screen, and you can see the time and the matchups and the ratings and everything like that. Whereas with me, I have to use the phone app. That's the only really main difference between these two, which it's a nice feature, but I mean, I don't know if that's such a big deal. Of course, I assumed that this one would work with the magnets too, but that would have been a hell of a deal then, right? For 200 to get that, I can't find anything less than 600 really that has that feature, whether it be the one by this company or whether it be like Chestnut or something. Yeah, let's play an unrated rapid game. Why unrated? Because I have to only play rated rapid games in tournaments. So that's, and I won't use this board for that. In fact, you can't even use it in other modes. That's also a flaw of it, which I wonder if, I imagine the chess.com integration with ChessUp would make it usable with variants and other stuff. Well, to some extent, but some of them, you need a 20 by 20 board. Or it could like digitally shrink the square. So it's like, oh, now it turns it into a 20 by 20 board because, the squares are digital anyway. So it could just visually make it look like that and chop it up. That'd be so cool. But yeah, I'm only playing rapid on that. So when I'm not playing on this board, I'll do that. Tournament only, rapid, rated, trying to get to 2000, permadeath P set, and art gauntlet, like where I have to change all the cosmetics every time I lose. And then this will be the classical series where trying to get to 2000, where the permadeath is if I fall below 1600, I have to delete my account. Or in this case, even once I get to a 50 mark, like 1750, now it'll be if I fall below 1700, which is a little wonky with the provisional thing because, these games are giving me or taking away way more than they typically would, right? Like 50 or different amounts. So I played 2 games and I've gotten from 1620 to 1728, which 1728 is the highest I've ever been in classical, because as soon as I got to 17, I just stopped playing. And now as soon as you come back, so you can kind of game the system with that. If you're ever having trouble gaining a rating, like let's say you're hard stuck at 2200, right? And obviously that's very good anyway, but like stop playing for a while and then you win the next game and you'll get like 100 rating. Whereas if you play on a regular basis, you would have had to win 10 games to do that. So sure, if you lose, it'll hurt you too. But I mean, there is an element of that. So it does work with chess.com where I was doing that, but I was just doing that to test it because I don't really play on chess.com. I'm white. Oh, I just broke the touch move, but that was just an adjustment. I mean, you know what I do on move 1. Like, that's not... That I can use as a defense. Like, literally, I use one opening move ever. Like, when do I ever... whatever. But the point is, let's test that it works, and then let's obey the touch move rule, which I'm more than happy to do. And I just messed up. That's okay. I think this is really... There's a temptation to play fast that really messes me up. Which there's no reason to do that. 10 minutes is still plenty of time. We got to be careful at the opening. It's because I don't want to feel like it's a boarding, or I don't want the guy to go AFK or something because I'm taking too long at the beginning of a game. And of course, everybody's just an opening expert, even at a low level. Now move the king first to castle. And it should know as soon as you move the king like that. Right, obviously. There should almost be some other button or movement you can do, though, to let it know that you want it to castle. So now, I don't really even care too much about the result of this game, but I'm just more so concerned about, like, it's working perfectly fine. So why was it bugging out so much yesterday? I don't get it. People kept aborting, and then it kept getting stuck in the aborted game and acting like that's still going on. So there's maybe a little messed up functionality with that. We go here, we bring out the bishop for bishop pair. And there's a temptation, I don't know why, to move fast. It just kind of feels cool, like, oh, look at me, I'm playing over the board and I put the piece down really aggressively or something. He's got 9 minutes 30. I've got like 8 minutes 40. He castles there. Or yeah, so even if I mess up their move, it doesn't matter because it'll force me to do it right because obviously I can't just illegally control their moves. They go ahead, they push a pawn. I'm generally tempted to take. I would take, they would take. I would take, they would take. I'll just do it. That shows you like my lazy tendency right there. So they'll take, and then I'll potentially be able to take back. They take with the pawn, I take with the knight, they take with the knight, I take with the bishop. They could do like some sort of unleash, but there's no good unleash to do here. Like, oh, they'll unleash the bishop and attack the thing. My bishop that at that point would be uncovered, but it just doesn't matter. The battery life seems to be a little bit misadvertised. It says it's supposed to last like 10 hours on a full charge, but it's more like 5 hours it feels like because I swear the one, maybe I left it on without remembering one time, but whatever, that's still decent, I guess. Take it to the park, like they say with this whole rollable thing, which is of no real interest to me. Like, I don't care that it's rollable, that's just makes it cheaper, I guess, but like, I would have preferred. I really had no idea what I was getting, but that's kind of my fault because I like to go into things blind. So it says it right on their site what it is and how it works, but I didn't even get it from their site because I found it cheaper on Walmart, and it works generally well. I don't have any major complaints. Again, once you get used to it, the actual functionality of it isn't bad, so it's okay. It certainly makes me more immersed and want to RP shit, but in the same way that using a real physical board would do. So it just makes it much easier that I don't have to keep looking at the screen or using my mouse on the screen. Like, that's what I was doing with the other board that you can kind of see in the background there. Like some cheap $10 papery kind of board from Walmart. But the point is that I would have to make my move on here and their move on here, but I would also have to make my move on the computer too. So now I only have, wait, what? What kind of move is that? I would have to make my move on the board, then I would have to make it online as well. Then I would have to look at their move online and then make their move. So I'd have to do 2 extra steps. Now I can make my move on here. It's automatically online. Then I can just look at the light and then make their move from the light. So I never have to look at a screen or anything. I wouldn't even need a screen at all if it wasn't for the phone app that you do need to use, which is just to queue up and stuff, which limits it because you can't do other modes. But the point is that again, the other steps would have been I would make my move on the physical board, then I would make my move online on my computer or my phone. I'd have to actually, manually do that with the mouse, and then I would have to look at their move online, and then I would have to look at their move online and then make their move. So that's the one immersive element. Like, I'm just looking at the board and nothing else, aside from maybe time being the issue. I really should get one of those watches myself, one of the things that you hit back and forth, so I can simulate the real over-the-board tournament effect of, I could simulate that where I, every time, it won't be exact, but like every time I'm making the move or I make my move, I hit the button on the side, right? I don't even know what it's called, but just a chess clock that allows you to basically, I don't even care about saving that as much, but like, again, you would just hit it. So I make my move, then I hit it. Then they make their move, then I make their move, then I hit it, whatever. So it'll be a few seconds off, but it would give you a general idea of the time. I don't know where I would even put it for the visual. This table and everything is so small that I can't really convey that. But then that would be like a completely non-digital experience where you don't have to look at any screen. You have the time right there. You don't have the opponent's rating, I suppose, but it's it doesn't matter really because you get to, I don't get to see it on the app either, so maybe that's one problem, but that's okay. I don't, in some ways, maybe I play better because of that. You're really gonna do that, huh? Yeah, the final piece of UI would be I should almost have that clock. And I don't know exactly how to convey it. Maybe if it's really clear, I could just put it on the table in the back. Or I should just get a bigger table, but the angle of this is not the greatest. They should just use this as a chance to bring the queen out. Now I'm hitting that, I'm double hitting it. So now I can actually save the bishop too. After all that. Not that I was even really trying to save it. I can just hit it here. This guy's not very good. I don't know what rating he is, but it would be pretty close because in Rapid there's just more people who play and there's also more I'm not provisional there as much. So I've played 3 classical games since coming back to this. Well, I guess 3 rated classical games. I played a couple practice ones. And then when I did that, the first 2 were wins, but I was kind of shaky in the opening. The second one I messed up with the touch move rule that hurt me. And then I also no. Oh, whoops. See, I thought I was taking their thing with my bishop here. Just create a double stack. I don't see anything crazy going on. Yeah, my point was that I played 3 games. The first 2 I kind of botched in the opening, but I still did okay. And then I ultimately won the first 2, and then I lost the or no, I drew the third one. That was really seeming like a loss. In fact, all 3 probably I was losing in an early stage. That I actually did kind of miss when I'm getting a little overconfident. You're attacking the queen and what? Wait, I don't get it. You win, but why do I win? Did he resign? Did he... It doesn't give you really feedback as to what happened. 1500. Well, apparently I won. I don't really get it. He was attacking the queen, and I mean, I'm up by a decent amount of material, but... Okay, so that at least convinces me that it's working, even though at the end there I'm a little confused as to what happened. Let's try to get this to work. For a classical game, I'll just play 1, I guess. I was trying to play maybe too many yesterday and was bugging out, but it shouldn't really matter. Like, you know, I want to see the dude who brings us to a park, and it's like a good conversation starter type of thing. Like, oh, what is this thing? It's cool, whatever. But then, like, let's play a real physical game in person with a board that has all this functionality that doesn't matter then. Like, oh, it'll light up, but why does it matter? At least if it had a clock. That's a big missing feature. I wonder, I'm sure that would have it, at least for chess.com purposes. Chess up for, you gotta have a clock. I mean, even for my feedback myself, I have to look at the phone for that. Yeah, this is meant to be the most immersive way you can possibly play, and the only thing that would make it fully immersive is, again, the magnets that I could, I always joked about like doing VR chess or something, which would be similar in effect to this. This isn't VR. This is literally reality chess, but in that same way, like it's like you're playing against somebody sitting next to you, across from you, but you don't actually have to have them there. Again, even with the magnets, it seems like such a good technology that could be used for so many things too. Forget about just chess, like anything that you would do, right? You could play Scrabble like that. You could play anything with with a physical board if it just had magnets. So let's go ahead and play a 30-minute rated game. So rated 30-minute, my rating 1728. So now I don't know why it was bugging out in this mode, but like even now it's bugging out. Like what the fuck? Or no, that's just more so telling you before the game starts it wants you to fix everything. But it shouldn't start the game if it's gonna bug out. It should know that it's working. And sometimes these queue times take a while because not a lot of people play classical period, and especially a lot of higher rated players. Not that I'm really that high, but as you get higher, it'll be harder and harder to find. Why can't one of these games I just be white? Or everybody aborts. Why do you abort in a classical game? Like, I don't get it. Okay, I'll make my move quickly just so it doesn't abort. Alright, they move their knight. Everything's good. So now, I have to think about this, though, because something happens with the fried liver that boggles my brain. I should... Well, first of all, I have to cover my pawn anyway. But I don't understand why this has been happening lately. That they go here, like, oh no, now the fried liver is only one move away. So, what does that mean? Like, why does that work? I'm so confused. I don't do the bishop stagger anymore where I'd bring the bishop there so I could like double take, but he's not even covered yet. So by the time they cover it, right, they have to open this and then cover it, and then I could bring the knight here. This is always the move that I would hate to make because, oh no, if they take it with the bishop, then it opens the king and that's bad, right? The king pawn. But they can't do it because their knight's there. And as soon as they move their knight away, then you could move it back. But in this case, I don't have to worry about it because I can just do this. And the reason why is because now it's too late. I can already castle. The only threat being now is the pin. If they would do the pin with the bishop, so should I even worry about that? And the answer is basically that I will... See, look how I'm in a rush in the opening. I gotta stop doing that. Like, just relax. I could do that cheeky, stupid thing where, like, no, unless I would take... Wait, that's actually been free for a while. But it's not really free because then something happens where you get pinned into the thing, so... Which is still covered, too, so maybe it actually would be free, but I'm not... Don't try to be too adventurous in the opening because it can absolutely screw you over. So we're worried about the pin and we're worried about something else. And the reason why... You know, I don't feel the urge to really castle right now. I just want to make sure everything's comfortable. And the other move I want to make is like the pawn to d6. Yeah, I make these like little nail polish emoji type of cute moves, if you want to describe it that way. Like, you're just trying to get everything too comfortable, but in that much time, a good player is going to punish you, obviously. In fact, that was already a mistake, and my bishop is damn near trapped because I should have done the pawn on the other side than this one here. Like, why do people play so fast in a classical game? As even I'm saying that. Like, look at this. This is insane. We're blitzing out the opening like we're actually GMs or something. Like, we actually know what we're doing, which arguably I should in this because at least I do the same one over and over. But they go here. Okay. Everything is comfortable now, though, the way I was saying. If I take with the pawn, they take with the knight. I take with the knight, they take with the pawn. So everything with that is more than satisfactory. Or I even have the bishop, too. So, or they have the queen. So I take with the pawn, they take with the knight. I take with the knight, they take with the pawn. Then I can't take, but I'm more than happy with these trades early. My style of play is very trade focused, very trade happy. I definitely want to do the they could harass my knight, but I could go to like that other square as long as you don't have to go back. Now what is this? What is this? What kind of a move is that? First of all, I could just take it. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I could take it with the thing. Or no, I can't. Never mind. Yeah, we're obeying the touch move rule. We're playing on a tournament-sized board. The only other thing I wish I would have been able to do is actually play the tournament mode itself. And that would mean that, you know, other modes, like how I was doing the rapid tournaments. I guess there's no rule that says I can't do a classical tournament, but I'd rather not for now. But I still have to castle. I'm double attacking that. I would take, they would take, I would take, they would still take. There's no need to do it. Let's just castle. Move the king first. Maybe it's harder to do on the other side of the board too. And this does mess me up a little bit, the fact that I'm looking at black so far away, but it's okay. Like, you would never normally have to worry about this when you're playing in real life. Why would you be sitting at the wrong side of the board? They attack the knight. I can bring it back easily. It's really no big deal. See if there's something a little more inventive. I don't like being too adventurous with the knight, but that other pawn should be very ripe for the taking. And the reason why is because of the simple fact that that's been uncovered for like an hour and they don't seem to really care about it. They might finally do something with it. You might think, oh, it's all part of their plan, but there was no reason why I couldn't have taken that pawn by now 100 times. Like, okay, bro really thinks he knows what he's doing. Okay, dude. I would take, they would take, I could trade queens. Like, this is where the advantage comes in of just like, look, dude, you don't know who you're playing against that you would play like this because it's so beautiful. You let me trade anything, especially the queen, like, you're done for. Oh, he's not gonna let me. So now we gotta watch out for some cheeky kind of thing. Like, he can go here, but I could take with the knight. So what I'll do is I'll take this. Now do I take with the bishop or do I take with the queen? And the answer is that I'm attacking with the thing with the queen, so I'd be attacking their queen, so they're forced to move it. And then could I attack the thing again? This could be a mistake, but I'll actually do it with the bishop. So now we got a free pawn, and we're attacking the rook, and we're attacking the knight. So you're pretty much screwed because that's just horrible. I wasn't even thinking about the rook at the beginning of the move. I was literally just thinking like, oh, I'm attacking an uncovered knight. But my queen is covered, so it's not like any sort of unleash or double stack or anything is in the cards. I mean, I guess if they could make a double stack, but it'll take them too long. This was a very key pivotal moment, right? Like, moment of the game, highlights kind of thing. I always loved that in the old NBA 2K games that they got rid of. You would play like a game online in like my team and it would show you like the highlights of the best player. And for me, it would always be Dwayne Wade in the first, like 2K14. The first one that I played that, or played that mode at least, because he was like the first gold player I got. It was so much simpler, the business model then, that was so beautiful. Like, it was still microtransactions, but it wasn't like a big deal and people weren't using them a lot or whatever. It was just so much more simple at the time. So it's sad when like you'll buy a new version of it every single year, and it's like you would enjoy doing one from 10 years ago, but oh, you can't because they'll take it offline or whatever. Like, you literally pay, like, that's what I said with Classic WoW. Like, I would pay $15 for, although I'm not doing it right now, like, I would pay $15 for the rest of my life just to be subscribed to Classic WoW just so I can play it. So when you say, oh, you think you do but you don't, it's like, what do you mean, dude? Like, you do care, but and people are willing to do that. So you're paying $15 a month that would be expecting to be able to play the current game, which you can too, but just to play the old game or some version of the old game, especially when they have so many expansions, like even ones that I didn't get around to. But we'll take the thing here, and then I'm thinking what they can do. Like, they can do a cheeky move with the knight, and if they do the cheeky move with the knight, I can't take, but I can take with my knight. I'm not worried about it. So that was a devastating move right there that should just decide the game. So that's it. Now, let's not get too complacent, but at least I'm happy that that happened because I can't tell what part of me is showing there. Like my arm here on the right. But why? How does this... What? I'm almost doing a double take. I don't get it. What does that do? Oh, wait a second. See, the thing is, I don't have to do it. That's the difference. Like, okay, I wasn't thinking about the knight actually covering there. I was thinking about the knight giving a check in a different way, which actually now might actually happen. Okay, that might have been a mess up, but surely there's no crazy sequence. Because yeah, even if they do that, still that's the point. I'll go to H8 then they'll check, but then I could take with the knight still. I could still take with the knight. So he thinks he's doing something, but he's really not. And I'm still attacking the knight. There's so many things you have to account for that just makes this not work. Make this not work. Okay, dude. Okay. I maybe was thinking that, but I could almost afford to do it. Now, there's something cheeky with that too. Like if I take the bishop and they take the queen, then they'll lose the cover of their thing. Materially, it would be okay, but I'm just nervous about losing my queen, so I have to think about it. Like, I could take the rook right now. They take back with my queen. Then I would also take the knight, and then I'd still be threatening. So the material advantage would be, I would have 2 knights, 2 rooks, 1 bishop. They would have a queen and 2 bishops and a knight. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's not trapped in such a damning way though that I have to really do that. In fact, this other knight maybe isn't doing anything at all. Okay, if I take the rook, they take back. So my queen is gone, that's gone, and then I can immediately take their knight. So now I have 2 rooks, a bishop, and 2 knights. So 2 rooks, 10, 13, 19. Right, 19, or actually 17, because the knights suck, but whatever, 19. And they have the queen, so 9. And they would have like 15, basically. 9 plus, or no, wait. How can they have so much? I would have 10 plus 3 pieces, so 19. No, I would also have the bishop, though. I'd have like 22, and they'd have like 15, because 9 from the queen, they would have a bishop, so 12, and then the bishop and the knight. So 12, like 8. What? 12, 15, 18. How is it that extreme? I don't get it. I already won a thing. That means this must be losing for me. I'm already up a rook. I'm up a net rook, and now I'm considering doing this garbage. Why am I even doing it? If I move the bishop up, they, I don't know. Move the bishop up, they could take, I could take, they could take, I'll just do it, I don't know. Or I could move the knight, which that knight isn't really doing anything for now. The other knight is what's really important. I don't know what's going on. I should do this just because it's proper development, I guess. So it's covered by the knight, covered by the queen, it's double attack. They could triple attack it, but other things should be happening now, like we're, now the queen has other places to go. See, that shows you because I'm winning, I'm getting cocky. Why would I even consider doing that trade? Or I'm giving up the queen for for the rook. But I think, because I get a piece back and this and that, but it's a net -1, and I'm losing a queen that is such a dynamic piece that I always talk about. Like, a low-rated player would always prefer having rook over 2, or a queen over 2 rooks. And the reason why is because I think I remember that when I first said that, like, so many years ago. I was doing like a Red Dead Bounty Hunter thing, like in that same session. I just remember it was so long ago, but I said, like, yeah, you would rather have a queen than 2 rooks because it's just much easier, more dynamic to use and everything. Not saying it isn't objectively better, although it still depends on the position, but you would generally feel more comfortable. So they could double take, they could set up the double stack even on there. They do the ultimate cop out for me by doing that. Now, it saves their thing, but it only saves it from the perspective that he's just too impatient. He might have actually had something good there, maybe. But no, I have my dark square bishop I got to bring back. I can also take their light square bishop here. My knight is pinned there, but I don't see what they can do. They could attack it with the queen. And if they attack it with the queen, then I'm kind of screwed. But I guess I would just let them have it then. I would just let them have it and I would take their bishop. So they take the knight, I take the bishop. But no, I guess I can't then, but if the knight could cover the knight, that would be good. Now, I may very well lose that, but I can afford to lose it. It's just a question of what else am I doing with this position? And the answer is that I could like save that dark square bishop, but it's not really doing anything anyway. I could unleash in a cheeky way, like I'll attack with my knight on the queen, but then they'll take. It won't be a check. Then I'll take their queen, and then they'll take again. That seems way too ambitious, but the main way you can usually subvert stuff like that is with a check, which they can't do. So they'll take my queen with their rook, then I'll take their queen with my knight. Then they can take another rook, but it doesn't matter at that point because you're able to... This mainly works because you have a check, or because you're not in check. So I ignore the take on the queen, I take their queen, and then what's interesting is if they move their queen away somewhere different, guess what happens? Let's say they just move their queen away somewhere cheeky, right? What do I get to do? I get to back rank mate them because, right, they might not realize. So, oh, they'll save their queen, maybe, and then I'll back rank mate them if they move it anywhere besides, really here. See how they give you such a fight, though. I actually love classical so much. I've always said it. I've always believed it. I just didn't always have time to do it. But okay, here it comes, bro. Here it comes. I could have messed up, but I think generally it just makes a lot of sense to me. I'm already up material, so it should be only better now the less you have. Like, oh, now they'll take the rook, but it doesn't matter because I just... Like, what follow-up do they have now? And the answer is nothing. There's nothing came out of that. So they have the bishop, the knight. So I have rook, 2 knights, and a bishop. They have... Basically, let's do the material thing again. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They have 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm up by like +5, basically the free rook that we got. Now there may be a problem here because you immediately have the ability to like, okay, the thing is pinned, and then as soon as I move it, they'll move the bishop to do that. So let's sit on the same threat from before, which is, oh, we're gonna back rank your dumbass because you I like how that bishop is just sitting in enemy territory for so long too, and it's just not ever under threat. That's what you have to think sometimes. Like, you might think you want to protect it. Oh. Oh shit. Okay. I'll give you that one. I didn't see that at all. Damn it. Now if we could get that bishop to move, that would be good. That was a disastrous move. I should move this stupid ass knight, but I'll maybe make a mistake a little bit. Now I'm only at 5, 8, 9, 10, 11 versus 9. So that really was a mistake. Okay. But I mean, the other knight was under pressure too. Like, it was going to get pinned or something. So they take here. That's not going to be the best pawn structure for me to have. Look at him fight it out, though. I'm very impressed. Okay, let's just do it. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. We got the 2 pawns on the one side, as if the game could come down to that. I'm still in a good spot, but I'm not happy with how. Yeah, I'm winning, and then I make a mistake that's uncharacteristic. You got to think about it this way: like, if you're good enough to be up on your opponent, how could you lose when you're already up? Like, you were good enough to get an advantage in an equal position, but now you're not good enough to win in an advantage position or just to keep the advantage. Like, that's where the psychological element comes in, of just like, it's nothing other than that. Now, you know what? You have one good thing here, although they're gonna do something cheeky as hell. Um, Now if they take the knight, whatever. Like, I'm double attacking their bishops, which would be good normally, but guess what? There's a piece that's hitting here that's just known as a liability. That if only the knight wasn't there, if it just simply didn't exist, we would win potentially a bishop right there, right? But oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, I wouldn't, because never mind. They had that. Or no, their better move would have been, again, just take the knight, because like I said, I would have had to respect that. So even if I ignored it, I would have let them do that the next turn and trade, but I would have taken the other bishop. But I totally didn't account for the fact that, oh shit, I almost did it too. As if the touch move should count with your own piece. Or like with the piece you're capturing. Okay, we don't need to overdo it, but I'm not too happy with the way this is going, so... Sometimes, you don't always have to be doing something fancy. I guess I'll do that. So what'll happen now is they'll attack it with the thing itself, with the bishop itself. And then it doesn't matter, though, because it's still a trade behind. I have 14 minutes, they have 24 minutes, and they're fighting pretty hard now because they were losing, and now it's almost even. This is how every game goes. Like, I'll do well for a while. Well, actually, sometimes it's the opposite, though. I'll do bad in the opening, and then I'll recover. So, there's like a hair on here somewhere. You got a dog or something? The classic line from American Psycho. No, Alan. Like, at what point do you see my hand? Like, at this height and this distance, like right there is the apex of it. I maybe could have done some sort of cheeky unleash thing. But now I can give a check with that, which won't really matter much. But the real question is the simple fact that the knight is an absolute just noose around my neck right now. It's so horrible. I hate it. Like, all I want to do is get it out of the way, and you just can't. And if I do anything else, I'll end up losing it. Like, it's so stupid. I could give a check. I'm not really sure I like that, but I'll do it anyway. You give a check, you block it, and then I will have to move the knight now. I'm obligated to, because it's not covered. And there's nowhere good to move it that I care to move it. I just want it out of the way, so... I'm down to 13 minutes. Again, that's often the difference in the game. If they just use their time as much as me, I'm not really better, but I guess time discipline is part of it. It's just like, it's sort of intimidating. They're almost giving me time odds, but they're not. I mean, it's a rated classical game. We both have 30 minutes, but it's a case where you obviously, if they use as much time as me, there's no doubt they would win, because they would either flag me or they would just play better, because they're playing pretty well even without using their time. But again, I won't use that as an excuse, because they're just kind of clowns. There's nobody saying you can't use your time. Now what we have is the ability to move the knight and just get it out of the way, because I can't keep doing this forever. Let's see if there's a killer move to make going forward, though. If you go forward, it's not a good idea, but you should never leave like multiple pieces uncovered or relying on each other in a way that could be a problem. But if I go like there, you go there, you go here, here. I'm not seeing anything really. Okay, I'd be happy. Let's just go back. I'm not worried about it. Now you could do something cheeky where you attack here and then you guarantee the trade and then you can attack it again. The reason why that doesn't matter is because you should still be able to stay connected to the bishop with the rook, so it shouldn't really make a difference, right? You go back, you're attacked, you move again. Like at some point they don't have enough material to really do it. So I'm happy with even the trade prospect, and so now, oh man, the only logical thing is go here. If they take, I cover. If they attack with the bishop, I don't care, right? They're pinning into the knight, but at least the knight finally has a cover, the liability that it is. I like documenting this too, because this shows you, like, you'll say that, oh, it's just because you don't know how to use the knight, but you can see the perpetual frustration of, like, look at this guy, he's not even used it the whole game, it's just sitting there. Like, nobody knows or understands how to use the knight at the low level, right? It's too convoluted of a piece, not even complicated, just stupid. And then, okay bro, okay, and then at the other level you get the classic triple stack with a knight and two bishops. Like, the point is that at the low level the knight is just too complicated and convoluted to use, and at the high level it's just not as good as the bishop anyway, so it's much ado about nothing. Hey, how's it going? Let's see, what would I do now? This guy has made it a little bit annoying. Man, I was up by a full rook. I have to stay in that lane here, as LeVar Ball would say, stay in my lane, but I don't know. I mean, I guess there's only really one square to go to. If I go there now, they'll bring the knight or do something stupid. Finally, it's like the piece that strikes at the opportune moment, where it's kind of like, you know, it won't do anything the whole game, even when it's an octopus knight, right? It's just sitting there, and then finally it'll do something good. So if he doesn't trade, I'll trade, but now he'll attack the thing again. And, like, if you want to go for a draw, I don't mind it. Like, this guy is so annoying, but I guess I should be grateful that he plays so fast. He's still got 21 minutes, I've got 11, so that's always the difference in the game, right? Like, if I had that kind of a time advantage in Rapid, I would always win, but, you know, then you only have 10 minutes. Here, it's like you have 30 minutes, but people don't play like that. Right, even I played a little fast, but, like, I've used every last second pretty well. It's just like, once we traded queens, I kind of lost my interest a little bit, as typically happens. I mean, you could literally do a threefold repetition right now, because you'll keep doing the same thing over and over, and I don't think you realize what it's about. You have to stay connected, and you can go here. Now, if you attack that with the thing, it's the same thing. I could go back, or maybe not. Oh, wait a second. Don't tell me. He's going to end up winning. Does the piece move itself? No, the pieces don't move themselves with this. It's just more like online it moves it. So, like, if I move my piece, so I'm black, so when I move it, moves my piece online for me. But and then it'll light up his piece where he moved it, so basically the only thing automatic is just it moves my piece for me online. So they came up with something seemingly dastardly here, where they I might have to give up the cover, but then it's not under attack, or I'm so confused by what they're doing right now. But how have they done this, man? How have they done this when I'm... Oh, man. How is it even possible? See, this is... I'm even saying I'm using my time. That makes no sense how they can come up with this shit in the middle. I mean, I'd rather save my rook, so I'll just take a pawn, I guess, and sack it. And this knight is just going to sit there and be useless the whole game. I mean, I love what happens to people later in games. Like, they wake up and just become gods or something. I don't even understand how to explain that. Is this strike, or sorry, I can't read too clearly here. This is like an online game. It is actually an online game on the chess. So yeah, it's just translating my moves to that game. So I have like 9 minutes left, and then again, it's showing me their moves. So the better version of this would be if it moved their piece with magnets too. So you can use it like with the chess and chess.com and stuff. Okay, I'm just going to give a check. And now the material is pretty much even. I pretty much give up. I mean, if the guy wants to draw, he can have a draw. I'm done with him. Like some opponents just trigger me. Like you're clearly better. You're just moving so fast. Like it's just kind of dumb. And then you suddenly start to play extremely well as the game goes on. Like you're just not interested, which I'm kind of like that too. But I have to be down material or something, and then I start trying. So my knight is not going to be very useful, but still don't see how I would lose this really. Because if I just deal with their pawns effectively, I want to play a few games. I've been practicing blindfold chess. Really? Yeah, sure. Now that is not something I don't think I could really do. Blindfold. I think I've tried it a couple times, but let's see here. So what do I want to do now? I could attack the pawn here. They've used their bishops in an unbelievably dynamic way that's just really incredible. So let me just do this. I'll make some basic threats. As long as they don't have some super crazy pin. Like they literally trap my rook. Only 1400 in blindfold. Oh, that's fine. Or I could do a blindfold too, I guess. Or I don't know how exactly I would do that using this. 1400. Is that actually a variant that you can do on there? I forget. I guess it must be, yeah. I always just do it like with the piece set if I'm going to do it, but then your opponent doesn't have to. Yeah, when both players are doing it, that feels fair. But then again, most people could easily be cheating it. There's just a skin. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Or there's like different levels to it too. Like one of them you can't see anything. One of them you can see the pieces, but you can't see what they are. One of them you can see the pieces, but what they are, but not the colors, or different ways to interpret it. Okay, you go here. Just try to bring the knight in, I guess. I don't really know. Now he's gonna trap my rook again, I bet. I'm down to 9 minutes. I better just play for a draw. It's fine. I mean, it's not like draws hurt me. It's just psychologically, I hate them. They're so annoying. They're so show you everything that's wrong with the game because it feels like I can always get one if I really want. But there's so many. There's literally hundreds of games that I could show, right? Where I knew it was a draw or I could have drawn it, but I choose not to. Maybe even games where I'm winning and I could have played down for a draw, which you say, oh, maybe you shouldn't do, but then I end up doing it anyway. Like I end up losing anyway, so I would have been better off. I wish I should set up some visual feedback that's a little better to show the actual game on the site, but I don't really know how to do that. Because again, my webcam is so bad, the resolution is struggling as it is to capture this. So now I should be able to easily take this, but it's all part of their plan, I'm sure. And the reason why it's part of their plan is like I could check, but then they'll fork with the king, and then it's just not gonna work. If I could just like check for a trade, I'd be happy with that, but I can't seem to do it. If I check with the knight, I gotta somehow just move my rook out of there. He's once again constraining its space in a very good way. That's kind of baffling to me how he keeps doing this. Or at the very least, I have to move the knight. But again, there really is nowhere to move the knight. That's not going to be a liability. Like, wow, dude. Every move, this is just triggering me. Like, I'll move it here just to get it out of the way, but then they'll attack it with that and be hitting both. Like, what if I just go to the back rank? That should work, actually. So then I can go back with my... I can go back with my rook just because everything is so messy right now. I mean, they're using their bishop pair like a god right now, I swear, compared to how they've been playing the game or how people typically play. They're using it so well. And they haven't moved their knight the whole goddamn game either. I guess I can agree with them there. It's the right idea. So all things considered, it should still be a draw, right? There's no reason why I should lose this. There might even be a small chance you could win, but not really. Not the way they're playing, at least. So the guy blunders his rook early game to end up playing like this, and just, he's probably going to flag me or something now. Unbelievable. I'm just trying to give something for the knight, like, that it can do, and I can't figure out anything. So they could keep chasing it down with the king. Like, they'll move the king up, then I'll move my rook back. I can't move back twice or thrice. Oh, finally they move it, finally. So let me just make that move anyway, where I decide to... Now we could, like, sort of pin that, but it's still not going to work because they'll unleash one and, like, attack my knight or something. Or they have, like, some potential options. If they get the knight there, they'll check, then I can't go there, then I go here, then they can check again. But that still seems like it's not going to be a mate. It'll be more like a... Maybe there is some sort of unleash mate you can do in that. Like the smother mate, but not exactly. I can give another useless check. I could also do this little pin idea that I like that seems to compel a trade, but they keep finding a way out of it. And the knight is a weak link normally, but in this case, there's not enough out there to really matter. Yeah, this is my weakness. This game was very easily winnable. They gave me a very good advantage early, and then I sort of let off, you know, sort of let it take it easy and just don't really try as hard as I should. So now they're playing for a win, apparently, the way that they've started to play. So they're at 14 minutes. I'm at like 7 minutes. But no, I do love these games. They are very intense for what it is. I'm just waiting for that one next mistake that they're going to make, and I don't know what it's going to be. But realistically, what they'll do now is they'll bring the bishop there, and then my knight's going to be trapped because he can't go anywhere that wouldn't be under threat. So did I mention that the knight's the liability in the game? Because pretty much every move, you are witnessing that. But I guess I could go to the back rank. I could attack it here, then they'll come there, then I'll come to the back rank there. Might be the best I can come up with. They could probably take my pawns on this side pretty easily, too, the way this game is progressing. So I kind of don't want them to bring in the knight right now, but their next move should be pretty obvious. They'll go to f6, or wait, I mean f7. Then I'll go to the back rank, cover it, then they can't really push me out from there, finally. That's kind of one of the dangers of putting the rook in the middle of the board the way that we see, like, sometimes it can be tempting to, especially when it's like one of the only pieces left, but you can't really get away with doing it because it makes it too much of a target and it gets trapped in some sort of Beth Harmon type, you know, pawn shenanigans where it gets trapped in the middle of the board, like that was Magnus's favorite moment or something that was pointed out. You have something like Stabilizer. If you can place it high up, it's probably more suitable than a sideways view. Yeah, I don't really know exactly the optimal way. I tried doing it like where I turned it the other way, like so you'd be looking at it, but I feel like that wasn't as clear. But yeah, this is definitely not an optimal setup. I'll have to figure something out better. So Here I want to, the problem is I just can't incorporate my knight at all. I really just can't do anything. You have the bishop there. I should look at some big streamer like Hikaru if he's ever done something like this, and whether it be with this or something, even just a real board, and see how they do it. Or like even when I look at tournaments, it is kind of like this. I feel like, right? You have each player sitting on each side, and it's from this angle. If you show it like from my perspective, right, then I'm looking at my pieces and theirs. I guess that has a certain value to it too. Like, so you'd be looking the way that I'm looking versus at both sides equally. Usually just higher up, huh? Okay, what do I do now? I have very little time. I guess I'll just do this. I really don't know what I'm doing, but it's covered by both. And again, the rook is immune to attack anyway, because you're never going to do that. Like, you're never going to trade it for anything right now, so... yeah, this would be a perfect new form of like gimmick content if it isn't already something people have done where they... Now, do I take with the pawn or do I take with the rook? This is a big decision because I feel like these pawns aren't connected anyway. So... I don't really even know. You know what? I'll do this just because I like the fact that I'm threatening the knight immediately, and I'm also... It's on a dark square, so now I can just play around the light square. That was a big mistake by them, actually, because he made a mistake, yeah. Like, you should never give up the bishop pair in that situation. You should never, ever give that up, because he was actually dominating me with it. I was getting so tilted by it. But yeah, maybe I could have done something better, but for now, these pawns should be invincible, except by the knight. Yeah, I'm not seeing the full nuance of it. Now they're attacking the knight, so now I can check and take the thing. You're actually really fine. I didn't fully see the extent of that, but threaten the knight and good things will happen, or just give random checks and good things will happen. So now maybe they can't do anything about this, but the way they've been playing, I wouldn't be surprised. Bro literally like goes Super Saiyan in the middle of the game and reaches their final form. So you move it to here. Now I should be able to take the knight. They'll take a pawn for it. And I guess I can't wait, because if I wait a turn and say, okay, I'll protect the pawn, then they'll just move the knight and then everything should be fine. So I'm not going to get greedy. This is good enough. So I don't know if I'm actually going to win now, given how I'm playing and given my time, but generally I should be okay. The problem is his king is a little more active than mine. Now I should just kind of go for it, especially in a way that I can play around the light squares and everything. Although my king is so far away. But see, couldn't I just sack the thing? And then I could literally sack... Well, I don't want to think like that, but... trying to not spoil you, but you were completely winning. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that until I saw it, but... Now, I can cover this. So now I'll push it, and then if he doesn't take it, I will keep going. I'm not an expert in these kind of endgames, though, so yeah, the king is gonna spoil the party a bit, I bet. Right, I'm not gonna be able to actually keep up with this. If he takes, it's fine. If he doesn't take, it's fine. If I move it up, he'll come in there. I don't know. Maybe I messed up already, but I can try to just take the pawns on the other side, but I have to deal with this one here, which shouldn't be hard to do because it's going to be uncovered half the time. I might have already... Not an easy endgame. I'm happy with even a draw. In fact, I probably should try to get one because I'm really low on time. I have like 4 minutes. He has like 11. Yeah, I thought that might happen, but then what does he do? He still can't do anything. So go ahead, do a threefold repetition. I don't care. I'm happy with that. Or I'll give it up if he tries to push. If he pushes the... Okay. Okay, dude. Couldn't I just like, oh, I'm taking a big risk. I'll push it up, then he'll attack. Then I will. I don't know. I don't know. I'll let him have it. I'll try to take the bishop, and then I'll try to just take his pawn, and I'll be fine with it. So go ahead, take mine. You move it here, and then you. Oh, I don't know. If I go here, they come up, but they can't come up. Now they'll push this pawn, which is cute, but the reality is they. All right, dude. I'm fucking. Like, what is happening? If I, if they take that, then I check, and then I can just take. I don't know what's happening. I can't even use my king either. The way this is going. I'm letting you take the pawn. I don't even care about it, but now your king is going to come in and somehow do this, which is utterly insane. I really don't even get this. Maybe I can sack for it. Maybe I can sack for it, and then my king will be on the correct side. Not protecting, rook protecting the pawn is actually untakeable. Okay, I'm willing to sack. So let me just clean up this side, actually. Right, I don't even care. I'll sack my rook, and then they're not going to win because they don't have any pawns left. And then I just get to do what I can on the other side. I'm about to flag, though. Just ridiculous that it comes down to this when I'm in such a good spot. Doesn't matter. I can do it whenever I want. Right, I can do it literally on the last square. And so the only condition is flagging. But maybe I shouldn't wait that long. Like, I'll do it now, and then I'll do it now. I don't care, and then I'll take I'll take this. This is the kind of game that's incomprehensible, but you realize when it comes to time, it doesn't matter because, like, obviously I'm gonna flag even now probably. So now I could still win, especially since that's the hilarity of it. Especially since their king is so far away. So now what are they gonna do? Are they really gonna be able to do this? Honestly, dude. If they do this, I'll actually just like let them have it, dude. I don't even understand mathematically. They'll sack it for one, they'll do something else for the other. Like, leaving my king on the edge of the board here might be the mistake because now I don't care. I'll let theirs come in too much. That just isn't gonna work, but they can't win unless on time, and I don't know whether this would be considered insufficient material. If they could, yeah, I don't even mind a draw. I was even almost willing to accept it. You go here. I almost just made an illegal move where I double did it. But yeah, it won't be insufficient material because somehow my pawns could allow me to get mated. Like, there's sometimes weird stuff like that happens. But even though it's insufficient material for him, given the board position, there could be some hypothetical thing that happens where I don't know. Oh yeah, you want to do it, dude? Go ahead, man. Now the real way to win could be I just push it. Now, if I push the pawn, they bring that. I go up. No, I don't see it. I don't care. That's okay, bro. That's okay. Okay. What an absolute waste of everybody's time. You get your little celebratory lights and everything. I don't know if it lights up differently based on... Maybe it lights up your side more if you actually win. You should have saved the pawn. Yeah, but I got like 30 seconds left, so I wasn't really, I don't know what I could have done. I would have messed it up, whatever it was. Okay, are you on Le Chess? Or actually, it doesn't matter which one you're on. So I don't know how friend duels actually work on this, but they should work. We can do like a 10-minute unrated game, I guess. Or he wants to do blindfold, actually, which I'm thinking how I would do it with this myself. I guess I really can't. Use the chess. Okay. Yeah, see if you can challenge me, and I'll see if it pops up on here, but I don't actually know how that works. I can play blindfold. You play a normal game? Okay. Or I could just manually do it, I guess, if it doesn't sync up. Which, that would be the feature I would have most expected. Like, no matter what you're playing on the site, it just automatically, does that. But no, you have to queue up through here, so then I don't know exactly how that works. Like, if I... Like, is this one of them? This is Mr. Chirag. That must be somebody else. Yeah. You also have a disadvantage of having over the board delay. It balances out. I guess a little bit, but it's not that big of a disadvantage. I guess I can just manually do it. It makes it sort of worth the effort, at least when it's a longer game like this, longer format. Then, yeah, I don't think this will actually work for it. Play with friends, but I don't know if that's considered like on here or what. Hang on. Oh yeah, it did actually work. Blindfold challenge you. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I'm white. Okay, he'll go here. I guess I didn't see whether it was rated or not, but it doesn't really matter. There's no like serious permadeath format with rapid, but if it's classical, I have to be careful. This app is kind of annoying because it doesn't show you actually their ratings. I will go into audio only, still can chat. Okay, sure. And since I don't know notation anyway, it's not like I'll be giving anything away because I don't even know the difference. Okay, we'll go here, go here. Yeah, let's play fast to try to throw him off that way. I mean, with all due respect, he's a good player. Actually, I forget what his rating is, and I can't even see it here, but there's no reason why I shouldn't easily win if it's blindfold. Like, right, that's a huge advantage, so... I don't know. Okay, they move that there, and then sometimes they might not even know exactly what their own move is. Like, they might forget, or, you know. It's very, like, I guess I could do it. It would just take me forever. Like, I'd have to keep thinking through every single move, which you should maybe do anyway as a good player. Like, think through every move, everything. Like, where is every piece, every move? And there's only 32 pieces, so it's not that hard to keep track of, but having to do that would take an immense amount of time. And of course, better players are doing that automatically anyway. So it does work with friend games like that, which I do like that. But Unfortunately, not with tournaments and stuff, or maybe there's some way to do it, but or like other game modes. I understand variants might not work, but some of them should. Like 960 should totally work because you could just adjust it, whatever the position you want. So one thing I'm almost trying to do is use time to my advantage here, but he's playing so fast. Alright, that's kind of cute, I guess. And there's a temptation to pull the knight back here, but that's obviously a bit of a trap. If that's normally my instinctive move is to go to h2 with it. Okay, we move the king first so it doesn't bug out. Oh, shit. Interesting position. Yeah, this is always very fun when I drop a piece. All right, let me think here. Kind of goes against my principle of the V-shaped structure. That one pawn move was a little bit stupid. Now they could turn this into a pass pawn, eventually the E pawn, I guess. I guess I gave him a little bit of a time advantage with that whole dropping nonsense. So he has 8 minutes, I have 6 minutes. No, I mean, they're playing really well considering, or I mean, it's still early, so you can't really tell, but. Alright, you have that, so a lot of emphasis on this pawn, which honestly I almost don't even care about, but just what I've done with my pawns isn't the best. So let me, they have the double diagonal going for the king, but it doesn't matter for right now because they give that check and it really doesn't do anything. They might just sack a piece here and have a good attack then, but there's no yo-yo possibility because obviously it'll just hit a dead end, and you could even trap it in there after, where it just kind of discourages that move. They're moving the knight. Okay, we'll just bring this stuff out here. Yeah, I messed up with my whole pink flamingo pawn thing that I normally do. I should have just not been so aggressive. All kind of interesting tricks. Like if I had moved the rook there, they could have pushed the pawn and then unleashed the bishop attack. And like, that's my only real thing is if I create simple positions, I can always deal with them. But then I can't let it get messy like that. Although you would think that might help me in this kind of context, but I'm not really the type to attack anyway, so I have to let it kind of dwindle down. Or if you consider just trading to be aggressive, then I guess I am, but not really with much of a sense of purpose. But that is actually covered. The question is, I don't know what to do with the bishop here. They take, I take back. They don't have a double attack. I even have the queen covering too. Yeah, this has been a botched position. Like, when do you ever see me play like this? Like, this is the weirdest opening ever. Not even by them, just like how I'm playing it. Because obviously white dictates it a lot more. I have no idea what I've done here. It might not actually be that bad. It's just more of an advanced thing that's very unusual. One of these knights has to move, and I don't know really where to move it. And see, this is where the trading would have come in handy. Like, he's done such a good job not trading anything so far, or even denying me trades in a way that's like weird, because how can you just do that where, you know, like really he's blindfolded, but he's still the aggressor because he has more discipline than me with trying to trade or not to trade. So the other knight is going to be potentially an issue too. I have to make sure I don't move it to h2 here. Our time is pretty much even. I'm at like 5 minutes. He's at like 5:40 there. You move this here. Yeah, here we go. The pass pawn march is coming. And all this time, what am I doing? Basically nothing. Like literally just wasting time. Right, like all these moves are just slow, awkward developing moves. You have this, which again, it could be a mistake, although I don't really understand it. I mean, I won't certainly won't turn it down. Could be all part of their plan, but I don't see what's so good about it. Oh, he messed up. Yeah, you can never tell because that always happens. Like it seems like that, but in this case, it's just the blindfold. Forgot about the pawn. Okay, they would take. I can't take back still. And now I'm happy to just try to do this. If they trade, it's fine. If they don't trade, it's fine. My pawns are not exactly very good still, but they take here. I take back. They push a pawn. These pawns are actually pretty dominant for what they are. If they push again, I wouldn't really want to take. So what I want to do is we'll create the double. We'll create the double diagonal. I have to be careful about some tricks they might do here. This is when like a player might be very overly aggressive and try to, you know, do something. And if it doesn't work, then they're screwed basically in the long term. So here I almost want to just push the pawn because just whatever. There could be some crazy sequence coming, but if they don't do some crazy attack now, they might just be screwed. And I have a pretty cute move here. But no, he played really good in the opening, and that doesn't mean I even win, but at least I'm in a relatively good spot. This is unfortunate too, because letting him do that could be very dangerous. So I thought I would win a rook, but now I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I should have taken there or not. Damn. So their pawns are extremely strong, right? That's the one thing I identified early that I messed up. And other rook isn't really doing a whole lot. Let me try to do this actually. I gotta get like oh yeah, that was my one title for my thing. Like Michael Jackson plays chess over the board. The kind of scenarios I find myself in, I could keep changing my glove style for doing this. They're down to 3 minutes. I'm down to 2. Like they're basically playing at an even level to me though, if not arguably better, even despite the blindfold. So, what is your rating on here anyway? I forget, and I can't see it from this somehow. It doesn't actually show me on the app. That's pretty good, I guess. They would take. I would have to just cover back. He's got to be maybe like 2,000. He's 1,400 in blindfold, but 2.25. Okay, yeah, that makes it more understandable. So, do they have a triple attack opportunity? And they really don't. And see, I didn't really even do anything to earn it. They just made a mistake, like, basically because of what they're doing. They don't have another way to attack it, so I'll do something weird. Maybe I should have taken with the pawn, but then giving them like a very good pass pawn thing, so maybe I shouldn't. Let's see. Now is where we got to be a little aggressive myself, because this is going on a bit too long, where even when I'm up material, this is what it devolves into, where I always just, you know, I always play passive and just try to win by attrition, which sometimes works. I'm actually down on time, which is mind-boggling. Yeah, at least we didn't have any technical difficulties today. I had maybe a brain difficulty with my, like, I'm up a rook, and those are the kind of games you really got to try to take advantage of. But I was not able to do that. Like, I don't mind it, but go here. You could just, let me go here. Now the knight has got to strike at an opportune moment. Move the queen there. Let me think here. Move the knight. I'm still so slow and anemic to actually get a threat off, even despite all this, right? I still can't do it. Move it up. I can't even do the triple stack. I can't do anything else with that. Now I am actually going to make a mistake or lose because it's so claustrophobic that I'm not. It always boggles my mind that I like can't do anything. Even if you're out material, even if you have everything kind of together, I'm just not good at attacking. Or here's where you almost got to sack something, even for both players. Right, where everything's congested, you have all the pieces you need to mate, but just you got to do the right sack in the right order. And these are the positions where knights can actually be good, when it's sort of so stale that you get to, just whatever. You can kind of break through enemy lines when it's a very stiff sort of position. So now you get to go here. And the reason why is because you're able to have the cover of the bishop itself, and then from there, I probably can't do a whole lot, but I'm just trying to make something happen. Or I do I do have a triple attack on there. So they would take, I would take, they would take. This should be pretty strong. I'm almost about to flag though. So we're both like at a minute here. They take there. I'll take back. Now, worst case, we'll just trade queens even if they take the thing. Or, oh, they're almost just throwing now. Or wait. Yeah, that's fine. 39 seconds, I might actually flag. Damn it. Because, like, they're not going to be so bad that they... Wait, did I make a wrong move? No. What? What happened? Oh, no, now I'm going to lose to technical difficulties. What happened? Or wait, they didn't take? Or they're baiting me somehow with this now. I don't care. Just move. Oh, come on. I'm actually going to flag. Which is only fair that I should have to deal with that because obviously they're dealing with quite a circumstance as well. They're making moves that could be either one. Here, I'll do this. How about that? Okay, so I actually flagged. Good game. Oh, I get it. So yeah, that didn't mean obviously it's a variant. It's just like you're making a new account. That could be a fun challenge. Although typically, I don't know how much that's allowed. Like I don't want to get in trouble as a streamer that oh you're not supposed to do that. But for my sake, like I should make a new account and play a blindfold and see how well I do. Right, as like a challenge. That's kind of what that is, I guess. But you're only making it harder for yourself. It's not like you're really smurfing. Well, it kind of balances out, but honestly missed the rook hitting the pawn. The limit is 3 accounts. Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems like a fun idea. Or even with some other rule set, like, oh, I'm not allowed to. That's what Hikaru and stuff do. Like, oh, I'm not allowed to use a rook, so every game I have to give up a rook. But that is obviously trying to justify that they're smurfing. But yeah, that is a pretty fun idea. Or like, what other formats could I do with that? Like, where there's some sort of limit, like, oh, I can't double push pawns on this account, or I can't. I guess I've already done a challenge like that where I have to use only the same 2 openings over and over, which is the King's Indian or the King's Pawn. But that's just because I'm stupid and lazy and I don't know other ones. Or even like I guess when I did my review for 2024, it said that something else was my most played because it's like the reaction to the King's Pawn is black. So when I push my own king pawn just to block theirs, right? I don't like doing that, but I have to do it because then if I do the King's Indian there, they'll attack my knight with the pawn and everything. So, okay, good game. See you later. Okay, so today I'll do yet another episode of this. Maybe this is going to be like the only chess series I do, but now if I have some other occasion to do it, I'll do the tournaments and all that I was doing, but that's just not using this board. And actually, that he gave me an idea yesterday where I could do that too, where I get to do like a blindfold account or something. That seems kind of like a fun idea. You make a new account and just see how far you can get with blindfold chess. So I guess I don't fully understand how it even works though. How would he know what I'm doing? Or that's what blindfold does is like it won't show you your moves, but it'll show you your opponent's move, or it'll just tell you your opponent's move like in the notation. I don't really know, but yeah, we got a draw last game. That was pretty frustrating that I was up like a rook. Like it's okay. Honestly, you have to live with that idea that like draws are okay in chess because at a low level, at a high level, you're always just gonna get them, and it's gonna be annoying, and that's just how it is. But even if you do that, then I don't know, like it's okay as long as I'm not losing games. But when you're up by that much, and actually, I looked at the analysis earlier, and it's like it was actually saying that you were supposed to trade the queen the way that I was thinking. Like, give the queen out for the rook, but then as if I'm confident enough, as the engine is, to be able to, win that position, I probably wouldn't have done that either. So you always have to remember that. Like, you can't play like the engine unless you are the engine because you're not going to be able to do everything else. Like, oh, that one move would have been better, but then I wouldn't have known how to follow it up. I wouldn't have been able to do all the other moves also, right, that you would have to do. Some of these have a tendency to fall off, but that's just because it's hanging off the table. We've had some minor technical issues with this, but generally it's not entirely the thing's fault. the main thing is it's just limited in certain functionality because you're able to basically not do like other modes and stuff, which I really would have liked to do that. You have to queue up through here, but it also is still on the site. Right, and it is rated and stuff too, so that's pretty meaningful experience that you can just play like you normally would. Obviously, I'm not saying you couldn't play rapid. Certainly, Blitz and Bullet are just stupid. Like, there's no, even with the magnets, it would probably advise you not to do that because, oh, you're playing with the magnets in a bullet game. Like, it'll take a second for the magnets to work and everything. So we have an open challenge. This is I don't know who these people are, and I don't know on what capacity. Like, okay, let's accept it and see if he's there. Robert T. 15 minutes. What is this though? Is it a? I don't understand. Like, from who? Is he on Square Off? Is he on the chess? Is he? Oh, apparently my battery's low too. And now this is gonna waste a lot of my time. This better not be like on the. Oh, whoops. Better not be on the chess or something. Well, let's try to play this quickly. It's a 15-minute game against a 2100 something. I don't know who he is or how he found me or what. It wouldn't even be through my stream necessarily because I'm not really streaming. Like, I wouldn't show up in the directory if I'm whatever. Yeah, I can play, I'm not like when I'm doing the tournaments, I'll put the Lichess tag in my title and it'll show up, but not here. So yeah, this was kind of an unexpected game, but it could just be somebody else using. Oh yeah, that's what it seems to mean. It shows that he's using the chessboard, so it's somebody who's playing on this, which I guess they could make a series out of that too. Try to bully the. Maybe I'll do. No, I want to do a classical game though, but it might take too long, so maybe I'll try to fit these in though in between. Like, I'll play other formats or something randomly here, where I get to basically. Actually, in that case, I probably should have gone there, is what I normally do. Like, to D. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, never mind. I don't know why I'm thinking like it's backwards. So he's castling there. And then I guess I could do the same. Don't move the rook first, though, or it'll actually move the rook. Like, I could try to play rated square off game. Although normally, I guess it's hard to find a match. It always says opponent not found. But if you were to do that, what it would do is I could be the best player on square off because it'll be even more inflated than that. Just means you're playing against other people in the app or using the board here. I guess they wouldn't have to be using the board. They could just be using their phone through the app. Because you can play on there too, but I don't see the point. Just in case you're queued up like this and it's close to the end of the game and you don't feel like moving the pieces, you're going to flag, so it's easier to do it there, but this knight positioning I don't really like. But no, he's 2000 rated, which I don't know what it means on here, if that's even a good thing, but right, it's 2000 in any capacity should be a big deal. The problem with this is it has the increment, so it's been a minute or two, but we're still at 15 minutes from a 15-minute starting point because of the increment keeps giving us stuff back. So you go here, you go here. Actually, I might have messed up. I did that too quickly. I would take that was a mistake, and I knew it was a mistake immediately, but I'm in a rush, I guess. So you shouldn't play classical when you're in a rush, which this might not even count as that. It should be more clear as far as like what sort of rating you're doing. Yeah, this guy's 2000 and it took him that long to catch up on a mistake that I caught like immediately, even as soon as I made it. Like, it's okay. Now I'll just go buck wild and do stupid stuff. If they take, I take. If they take the pawn, I can take back. They can take back, I can take back. So that was just an objective mistake that you shouldn't make against anybody ever. You can see it instantly. Like, I'm just doing it because you're tunnel visioning on development. Like, oh, I want to bring my bishop out to b2 and whatever. There was no need to do any of that. Right? Sometimes you have some preconceived notion of what you're trying to do, but that doesn't mean you should just do it. So now they could get the pin on my knight, so I better go to h3. It's bugged out a few times, but like the way it's working now is pretty much smooth. Like there's not one issue with it. So you got to account for it a little bit and not drag pieces and stuff, but generally it's not a big deal. Go ahead and raise this just so you can't take the actual pin the knight with the bishop. And then that one pawn is still sitting there. And so I don't know. You must have just challenged me too, because otherwise you know, how would he have accepted right away? So these people on this app might be desperate to find matches, but the whole point is you can use it with the other sites. Like there's no need. Why did I think I'd be good with this even? I would take, they would take, but then they have to cover it, and then I don't know. I'm just gonna try to trade everything off now with reckless abandon. But no, like the whole stream that I do could constitute just like one classical game, and it would be like, yeah, I hate this kind of thing because it's like it's such an obvious thing that I already said myself, but I do it anyway because I'm too lazy or I feel like moving fast for some reason. So now what I can do is I can not really do anything at all. But there's a lot of positions that seem like bad positions, but then you don't realize who's playing. Like some better player will say, "Oh, look, it's winning for white, it's winning for black," but like it doesn't matter because you're not necessarily going to, you know, see that or at the, you know, at the relative level, it's not really winning because that, you know, 1500, 1700, whatever isn't going to see that. So it might seem like it's winning, but or I mean it's objectively winning, sure, but um they can't move this because they would lose this. But the reality is I can't do anything about it either. So if they take, I just simply take the rook for free. But that doesn't really help me because I still can't take it. I would take, you would take, I would take, you would still take. I'd have to attack with the queen as well. So it seems like a cute little threat. Although there's no easy way to cover the thing either. To cover the there's no easy way to actually cover the rook anyway. So even if you were trying to do that, you can't even really move the pawn there. So I guess that might have opened up something else because I thought like if I let them take here, I could have, I don't know. See, now I'm going to try to be a bit too cute, but I think the rational thing is just take it. So nothing is changing. They still can't take. Now they might move the bishop and then everything goes out the window. But if they just develop their light square bishop. Okay. But the queen's not even doing anything there, so I could actually take. It's weird. I could actually take. They don't have a knight in close proximity. They don't have anything in close proximity. Right. The bishop isn't even doing anything, so they sacked in a position that wasn't really good. Probably because they'll win this bishop anyway. But even if they do, I can still pick up the pawn later, I'm sure. Right, so it's my own stupid play that allows for that. Like, there's no way they should actually be able to promote this. If they do, then obviously they deserve to win, but I've got too many pieces around it. Of course, the knight is just useless, but gee, what a hard move. I wonder if I should take the rook or not. I should almost bring the knight out to here. And the reason why is because they come down to there, I could just take it. Now they'll push the thing. They'll push the pawn there. Right, attack the knight and then oh, never mind. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't play a classical game after all. So they're giving up that, which again, I didn't have to do it that way at all. Um Yeah, the battery on this thing dies pretty fast, I swear. All I did was use it yesterday and it was on a full, I thought, or maybe the last 2 days. And you see how short these sessions are. Like I'm playing 1 to 2 games per session, even if they are longer format games. So they could have won a pawn like either way. If I move the king here, they could take this. If not, they can take that. My position king-wise isn't actually that bad. It's just the fact that I gave up so much material for no reason that it wasn't even because of the passed pawn. Like I just am trying to be cute. So this is still misrepresentative. That's why you can't look at chess as just always about the outcome, because if I really cared about that, like it could be a draw every time, it could be whatever, like it doesn't mean that you're actually trying to do your best. Like even I know what I'm doing is not good at times, and I'm doing it anyway, either because oh it's interesting or I'm just lazy. Like now, to the best of my knowledge, if I do something still, I'm not saying I'd play at the highest level, 2000 plus, but there is a difference. Like anybody can just play a stale kind of repetitive way if they really want to. He's down to 12 minutes, I'm at 14, but was it really worth the sacrifice of how badly I played? I'll try to do a classical game after this, but this guy just wants to take an hour over here. Even though, again, you can never complain because that's the point of the format. Like, why play a 30-minute game unless you're going to actually do that? You can give all kind of checks, but I don't see what they do because the dark square bishop is not really relevant yet. And the reason why is because you can't actually... I don't know, he just doesn't have enough material for this to be a big deal. What? Oh, he went all the way in. Wait, he's just giving up pawns like crazy. Which must mean it's all part of his master plan, but I don't see an immediate threat, so... He could be toying with me, or I don't know, he's supposedly a 2000 rated player. Or again, this is even more badly inflated than anything else. Like, obviously they're setting up for something that I might not be able to stop, but... You know, my king's about to get mated, and I'm just going around with my queen. I'm just taking free pawns, hooray. Like, it really is gonna matter. So the point is, I can't do anything with that pawn or the bishop. That's an infinite loop that you get in chess where they just cover each other forever, and then I could give a couple stupid checks here, I guess. But no, everything was of my doing that, like, even at a 1200, 1500 level, you could see all this, like, what was I doing? I just kind of did a stupid pawn push that's fairly obvious. I mean, I love that. I'll make a move, and then within 1 second, I'll say what it is. Okay, that prevents the check, but it actually doesn't prevent the check. And the reason why is because I should do something almost with the rook. But I don't know exactly what to do with it, so let's just wait. Oh, I'm just dead. I've just made it. Yeah, I was thinking that that was like a defensive move with the with the rook to stop me from giving a check, but it's actually just they can just mate me right now. And of course, the 2000 would take this long to figure it out. Like, why? Yeah, why was that a hard move? My rating is apparently 0, so I didn't lose anything. Okay, so I'm 1733. I gained like 5 rating for that last draw in obviously classical chess rated. So let's try to do one here. Although that kind of was not a very good game. All right, let's set this thing back up. Yeah, I mean this is good because I've never really played over the board much ever. So a good way to sort of simulate that. You could say I'm still not playing over the board, but at least in pretense, it gives you the same general feeling aside from having to move your opponent's pieces, which I don't like, but there should be some sort of upgrade you can do. Pay $100 for an update that lets it move magnetically, since this thing does have magnets. But no, you have to buy a new $800 chestnut move thing, which I don't know about that, dude. Alright, so we'll play a classical game in a second here and see what happens. And the provisional boost should be kind of dying out, so we took advantage of it, I guess, a little bit. I mean, I gained a whopping 100 rating, which under normal circumstance would not be easy to do from 60. So I'm undefeated, not to get cocky, and now I'll pay for it. But I won like 3 games, or no, I won like 2 games, and I drew like 2 games, I think. I feel like I played more than that, though. I won at least 2 because it gave me 50 and 50 ish, right? So you got from 1620 to like 1720. And then I drew 2 games. One of them gave me 0, and one of them actually gave me 5. Just for a draw, which is pretty unusual. It's not even that he was that much higher. But because I'm provisional, I guess it still gives you a little boost there. Okay, so let's start. It'll be a classical rated game with chess, 30-minute. So I don't know who that guy was. He wasn't even really all that good, apparently, but talking trash even when you're losing to somebody. But it is fair because it's just stupid. This is the closest to having like a proper chat view ever, though, because normally I'm looking at chat on my phone. Now I'm looking at chat on my computer as if you had like an extra monitor the way the big streamers do. But it's just because I'm not using the computer for anything besides streaming, so I don't have to look at it. So I'm black. So I made that move right back. That's the only thing I ever do, which is apparently like my most played opening according to my recap. He's already a bad player. I can already tell you. He's already bad. And the reason why he's bad is because you just don't do that. Right? You don't move the queen early. It's just that simple. Just don't do it. So as far as the sequence of moves, I don't really know which one. My problem is I've been making the doing the openings like way too fast. There's no need to play them this fast. Like, oh no, he's gonna scholars mate me, lol. Like, really, bro? Like, what are you doing, bro? You bring a knight, and I'll just castle. Then whatever nonsense he's trying to do is over with, and then it just becomes a greater question of development. So you go here. Like, don't get too cocky, but also it's encouraging. That clearly shows you he's just not a good player. Like, nobody plays like that. I could do the trade with the knight. There's no reason not to do the trade, I guess. I would take, they would take. It doesn't do anything for them either way. Right? Because, like, oh no, it opens up the same threat that you had, but it doesn't because uh, you have the rook now covering, so everything's fine. Okay, so what you can do now is you can try to develop the rest of my structure here, and I'll open the light square position here. The light square diagonal, but I have to be careful not to move it as long as his bishop stays there. And the reason why is because then you would obviously be able to he opens the dark square bishop position. This is one problem actually, is that yeah, raising that pawn is actually annoying. It almost makes it feel like I should just do this to save myself some effort. Right, go there. Oh, I just okay. All right. Forget it. Forget it. Just forget it. I'm not gonna play classical anymore. I'm not gonna use this anymore. Forget it. Like, what is the point, man? I'm saying exactly the thing. Just forget it. I mean, this guy doesn't seem that good, so I could get away with it. But like, why even bother playing? If you're not gonna actually play, then why play? Like, I play in a hurry. I play like I just want to get it over with. I say exactly what I need to do, and then I don't do it. What a fucking joke, man. Whatever, man. And still come back. I'll get a draw out of it. That'll be the theme of what we do. Just don't try in the early game and then pay for it and then end up with a draw. I mean, I have half a mind. Let's just go in for a trade. Like, I don't care. Trade the queen, and this guy might take it, or I don't know. Like, I can guarantee you those are the kind of moves that you pay for. That's probably a very bad move. You don't just offer up a trade on a silver platter with no other rhyme or reason or purpose to it. But I do, because I'm a bit of a clown like that. And we should develop the actual knight and just play for a draw. I don't even care even if I did win this one. Like, when you're gonna do that, like, I don't, it shows you just don't even want to play. Like, that's fine, bro. And now I feel happy because even though he's up a little material, I feel like obviously you trade the queens, it's pretty clean, and I get to you know, maybe my trading tendency is a bit unfounded in these kind of cases, but I think it still should be drawable, maybe. Like, the one thing you can't trade is the rook, for sure, because if you do that, then you're screwed. They take here. I take here. It just shows you they don't really know what they're doing, but when you make obvious stupid mistakes like what I'm doing, that's a whole nother issue, and so therefore you get to queenside castle, also a sign of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Now I could double take a pawn here. This take with the rook. So now they're only a +1 advantage, right? They're up the rook for a bishop, but I'm up a pawn, although I don't know if I can guarantee it staying that way. And so you're basically in a position where I don't feel under threat at all, but I'm also a clown, so I have to play a little better, and I don't know, I hate that. It shows you how you can still do well, but you're also playing badly. You get away with it against bad opponents or whatever it is. I hate it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you're double attacking a pawn as well. And so it's not that they couldn't cover it, but it's that they can't cover it adequately. And the reason why they can't cover it adequately is because of the simple fact that, see, now, is this really worth it? Now they'll have 2 rooks versus a rook and a knight, and I'm going to lose that probably, even though they're not that good. And the reason why I'm going to lose that is because I might be up the pawns, but they'll just get them back. That's what you don't get at a low level, right? You seem like, oh, look, now it's even, but it won't be even because they'll use their material advantage that's more consequential with the 2 rooks to obviously win. And the reason why they'll win is because the reason why they'll win is because obviously the rook is better than the knight. So you might think you have this settled with the I don't know. Well, first of all, you don't want to trade the rook ever under any circumstance, but it's that sort of a window dressing situation to create. Oh, now the material is even, but it's not. It's not even. And the reason why it's not even is because you I mean, and they can take they can take the open file. They can basically do whatever they want right now. The reason why it's not even is, again, it might seem like, oh, the pawns even it out. Like, you can do this all you want. It's not going to do anything. One lone dinky pawn like that is useless. Let's just try to play defensively as hell and try to bait for a draw. They could create a double stack and almost force the trade because they'll give a check and then I'll have to figure something else out. I don't have to really worry about that. This creates like the double stack threat for later that they could back rank, but the reason why I don't mind that is because of the simple fact that I think I could pick that pawn up later in some way that might be easier. So you can come into here and attack, but I don't mind that too much. So I bet their ideas are pretty simplistic and limited right now. I could bring like the knight there. Now, if they create the double stack there, I'm in some trouble. At the very least, it would force me to trade. Okay, dude. So even that is still okay. And the reason why it's okay is because they still have to bring a substantial amount of other material in to actually make this happen. Or, I mean, again, they'll create the double stack, which I can't stop with the knight because, of course, the knight just does nothing. So they'll do it, but then they can't give the check because if they give the double stack, then they give the check I take, I double take, so it wouldn't even be worth it for them. So can I do something sneaky with the knight? And the answer is probably not. I could attack it here and attack the rook. They'd create the double stack, but they can't really create it because I would already immediately take. And so they almost have to back the rook out of there a little bit. Wait, what? No, I don't I don't really have to even move that. I could almost trap the rook now because they don't want to take the knight. If I move the king in, they can give the check with the other one. Then I would attack the rook, but then they'd come down. But they can't. They can't come down here because I move the king there to the F file. Then they give the check. Then I move again. They attack with the other one. Now they bring the other rook down, but then I take, they take, and then I can't take, so they might promote. I'll just do it. I don't care. but they can't go to this key square. And the reason why they can't go to this key square is because of the fact that we have the knight there, and they don't want to take the knight. If they take the knight, then it's even anyway favoring me. All the pawns are pretty much accounted for. They can't really get to this one very easily on the side here. I'm so mad at how I play, dude. Like, I don't like the way this is gone. So you go here, and then what crazy trick do they have up their sleeve? And the answer is they're gonna at least give it up for the pawn. So let me try to understand. I would take, they would take, and then what did you do now? All right, you can have it, bro. I said from the beginning. I don't care. Yeah, I just didn't see that move at all, or I'm just not paying attention. I'm a clown. They can give a check now on the back rank itself. Let's just get it over with. Like, again, from the beginning, I just wasn't interested. I didn't want to play, so why force myself? You can give a check. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't care. You could give another check now, and then you'd win it for free, but you're too stupid to even do that. So now you could basically promote, and the position still actually doesn't look all that bad, but obviously, you know, just materially, it doesn't seem that bad. So what if I put this like behind here, and then I move the king? It'll take them like 2 turns to even get here to be able to attack it. Go here, very cute, and then now I'm going to have to attack for it. It's just fine. What is happening? Fucking bullshit. What did I do? I don't know what happened. They moved that to attack it. Now, apparently I can't make this move, even though it's a legal move, so I don't get it. Go ahead and move it. I have to sack. Let's just get it over with, man. Fucking stupid ass trash player. Is there some way that I could... I just have to do it. They have 4 pawns. I have 5. So our first loss isn't going to be all those insane games that we played. It's going to be this, because... What the fuck? That's incredible. They can already kind of pre-move their move. Guess what they're going to do? Not very hard. Now they have to bring their king all the way in, which obviously, in a game with a different time format, this might be a factor where they might actually somehow not be able to do it, but I don't know, man. I don't want to play this anymore. Like, if you're not playing it. That's the thing. Like, you're playing a 30-minute game, but you're not actually playing it. Even though these people play faster than me, it's like I'm doing a move that's just not a real move that I would ever do. So I gotta just not worry about it aborting at the beginning or something, because that's just not even a valid outcome. If I can just get rid of all the pawns, maybe they'll mess up the rook mate. Like, that's a bad move anyway, but... Go here. Good thing I didn't get to 1750. Otherwise, this would be the one where I have to delete my account. Like, am I taking this seriously as if that really would be what's at stake? Because it really doesn't feel like it, and I should just stop after this one forever. I'm not gonna play classical anymore. Like, I don't care. I got lucky in a couple games, which maybe got me in the mood to play it again. But there's no reason to play if you're gonna play like this. Could be some sort of stalemate shenanigans, but like this guy is so bad that he might not even know how to still do this, or he might get a stalemate, but I just don't even care. Absolutely stupid. You almost are baiting for a stalemate possibility where even though it's not positionally correct to do that, it's you know, somehow I have nothing to move now at least. Move it there, you're gonna be able to double take it. Okay, take this. Now I'll lose a lot for this one, and I deserve to because I'm a clown, but like it's just unbelievable because I don't know, man. I don't really want to play it. You'll take that, you'll promote, let's just watch him do it. See, even with if he didn't have the pawns, he could have obviously done that. Like he might have actually struggled. Yeah, why don't you try to mate with the king and the rook instead of promoting like a degenerate clown? Watch him actually stalemate, I would love it. Or he'll try to over promote. That's all you have to do is like get in front and then do it like that. Like if you're directly in front with the king. You should calculate for a stalemate in the sense of like what gives me the highest probability of doing it, but I don't know. Like almost getting closer would help with that. But no, one thing I like about this is I'm trying to follow the touch move rule in real life, like or whoops, I was trying to move for them again. So if I touch a piece, I have to move it, which has already messed me up in one of these games where I shouldn't have done that. I don't think I've made an illegal move with myself yet, really. Where like, oh, I walk into a check or something. All right, hurry up, hurry up. He's promoted. It's showing you a rook though, so they're trying to be a bit of a cheeser here. But that requires you to hit like an okay prompt in a way that's kind of a little goofy. Like, imagine that's a faster format or something. Okay, let's see how long it'll take them to actually do this. But again, when they have this much time, you can't really cop out with that because you would say, well, you know, it's just not going to happen because they should be able to do it. They deserve to do it. So it's trying to make it difficult for them. 50 move rule or some other shenanigans. If you get high up enough, now they won't necessarily be able to do it because I'll be touching them. So they'll have to go all the way to the other side of the board. Like if they go here, then I go here, then they can't do it. They'll give a check there, then I can go here. Then they can't give the final check either. Now they're finally sort of getting it, I guess. I won't get close enough now. They go to h7. Good job. Try again. So it doesn't show like the rating change here, but I guess we can see what it is. Let me go on the chess itself. That's some of the bad feedback here that it doesn't give you, but I'm sure I'm below 17 now. So it's a damn good thing I didn't hit 1750 because, well, but then you'd have a cushion of like one game, and that was really stupid. Let me see. I'm just trying to look up on the chess here. I'm 1702, so I guess that one didn't cost me too much. That one cost me like 26, which against a clown opponent like that, I should feel lucky. Let me see. What he was 1655. He's also provisional. I lost 31, I mean, because I had gotten some from the draw. I almost want to do another. Let's just throw another game because I'm such a clown. Which you really shouldn't do that, but that's just really, really like, I gotta do what I've done in the past where I can take 20 minutes in the opening, like just literally, and I'll win because I don't know what it is about the opening is just so annoying. You just want to get it over with, and even in better cases, you have so much borrowed knowledge that you're relying on. So like the opening may as well just not even exist, and that's why people do like, obviously, and I like my prognostications of that at a low level even when I'm younger, when I don't realize that that's ultimately what people come to is, yeah, that's why you have variance, that's why you have 960. It's like, it's just stupid. Like, why should that be such a foregone conclusion that either it's just boring or it's borrowed knowledge basis or something else that is just not very rewarding. Maybe I'll do it later. I don't feel like doing it right now. But yeah, if you look at that, I even point out, oh, I can't develop the bishop. Like, if you really look, I'm a troll. I'm not actually serious. Regardless, even if it seems deliberate or whatever, like, I say, oh, I can't develop the bishop, otherwise they can take my pawn. It's just a basic opening thing. Okay, so I just develop the knight or something first, and then I move the bishop. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm just totally pretending. I'm just a good actor. Because I don't get it. Like, it clearly shows. Like, you just have no interest whatsoever. You don't enjoy the game, so why even play it? But even then, it's a better way to put it to the test that play classical to try to force yourself. If you don't enjoy it, then just don't even play. But don't try to subvert how boring it is by trying to turn a turn-based game into a real-time game or something. Face the reality of what it is, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. But it's don't try to hide from it. I like this little ASMR setting up aspect of it. I was sort of known for doing semi ASMR unintentionally in the past because of how quiet I was or whatever, just how my voice sounded, which you can even see that. Even though it's not exactly how it was in the oldest form of what I would do. If you look at some of my older videos on my channel here, like me playing Dark Souls 2 or something like that, Doki Doki, me talking shit to Monica, right? Those kind of moments were in sort of semi ASMR. So I guess I probably should charge this thing anyway before I use it again. Okay, see you later. Okay, so today I'm going to play yet another classical game, and I was doing very well since I returned to playing them. I played like maybe 4, and I had won like 2 and draw 2 or something like that. And then now I lost this one, which was pretty stupid. So what I keep doing is I keep rushing through the opening, and sadly that ends up being the dictating factor that like, oh, I don't know why. I feel like it's going to abort or glitch out or something at the beginning of a game, so I don't want to do that. I forget exactly how it works. You might think it's only the first move where it aborts, but whatever. I shouldn't worry about that, but apparently openings are more impactful even at this low level than people would recognize, and it's just stupid. It's not that I can't figure it out, but that's what I would sometimes do even in classical games too. I would take like 10 minutes in the opening just to make sure, and then I'd be fine. So even though I'd be down on time, right, if I didn't do that, it would hurt me, whereas the other person was just blitzing through and apparently they've studied everything their whole life, and or they just innately know things that people didn't know hundreds of years ago. They're just more genius than Paul Morphy, who didn't do some of the openings that we see. But of course, they just naturally know it. They're just that intuitive and gifted, right? Like, we know how openings are such a trash part of the game. So, again, it doesn't bother me at a high level that you would expect. I always have like an open challenge, but against who? Or it's the same guy, the Robert Tiango guy who beat me yesterday. We're going to do a chess rated classical 30-minute game, and my rating is 1702 down from 1728, which I was just at, or even 30 something, because we had gotten like 28 and then we got like 5 rating from something. Or I should always do a test game at the beginning because it sometimes messes up and then I'll abort or lose a game because of that. But I really wish it would show your rating on here, like on the app even. The one thing you can't see always is time, and these rooks always get cut off a bit, but I think you can still see it generally well. So let me just take my time. It's much easier as white, actually. If I play as white, I really don't have to worry because I can dictate the opening, you know, whatever I want. But as black, sometimes I get caught in something that I normally know and can see, but I don't, just because of the fact that I don't know why. I've been doing that where I play in a rush at the beginning, which you should not do. And it just feels bad to take so long in the opening too, but just go like this and everything is fine. So the two moves I typically like to make is H3 and D3. And oh, here we go, bro. Here we go. Here we go, bro. This is it, dude. Opening theory at, like, who does this? Who actually does this? And of course, oh, it's the right move. It's objectively a good move. Like, okay, dude. Who does that? Like, No, nobody normally would ever do that, right? You either know it or you don't. Nobody actually plays like that. No human being actually plays like that. They did not do this hundreds of years ago when, you know, there wasn't opening theory. There just wasn't a thing that happened ever. Nobody did that. Like, just, oh my god, I get triggered. It's not even bad, but it's just, I don't know, man. All right, we'll do this. We'll try to castle. You just got to understand the difference between something that is like a natural human intuitive thing and an engine move or an opening theory line or something. There's a difference. You can just tell. But like that sequence right there, and I've seen it a million times, so like, oh, I could do it myself, but it just shows you a different style of play, which is fine. And after a while, you got to get used to stuff like that and take it as second nature, but it doesn't mean that it's actually something you would naturally would do, which is fine, but it just sort of bothers me, especially when you see it at a relatively low level. Although, for all I know, this guy could be 1900 because sometimes classical will put you in matchups like that, and I don't know what. I can't even see what it is, which maybe that helps me too. But sometimes you get psyched out or you get overconfident. But no, the last couple games, one was a draw when I was up a whole rook relatively early on, and then one was a loss where that guy seemed really bad, but I just threw away something at the beginning. And I actually looked into the analysis after, and it wasn't actually that bad. Like, there were many chances still to potentially consider it even, but obviously you get sort of tilted that you just don't feel that way. So I would normally like to trade this, and it's hard to say whether this pawn position of him taking there, like, is a big deal or not. Like, I don't care, but I don't know why. I mean, my tendency is to trade, so I'll trade, but there's nothing bad about this position. Like, it's all perfectly normal. My light square bishop is in a bit of an odd spot, though, because of that little clown sequence with the fork. And the reason why is because now I would want to trade one of the bishops as well, because the bishop pair doesn't seem very practical to me, but it's a situation where I might actually hug it on the other side and leave it here, because there's something just wrong with this position right now. Like, it doesn't make sense how exactly I'm going to develop this, or, you know, what I'm going to do. But I think you could do this, for example, to open out the dark square bishop. But if you're trying to think like a bishop pair, I don't know how to get it back there. To like, where would it be? It would be like here. So I have no idea. I guess I could just do it manually, or even that I messed up. Okay, now there could be some sort of sack play that happens. They sack, I take, they sack, I take, they come in, they check. Like, basically, I wouldn't be able to cover this, right? If they sack the bishop, I take. Then once I take, they come in with the queen, and then I can't really adequately cover that, but I kind of can with the queen. And this is kind of cute, actually, right here. If I go here, I'm double threatening there, and I'm also hitting the queen, and sort of maybe compelling a trade in a way that I typically would like to do. As if you haven't guessed, I like to trade a lot. You're setting up for the mate, but that's kind of a weak way to go about it. I mean, there's so many things you could probably do. Or actually, maybe there's only one thing you can do. Yeah, I mean, even the type of player who wouldn't be passed, like, I could just put the queen in front, and then even if they take a free pawn, I don't even care, because it leads to still a trade. Like, I'd almost be willing to do that, but what I have to do is probably raise the pawn. But if I do, then they'll take the other pawn as well, so it makes me... If I'm going to give up a pawn anyway, wouldn't I rather get the queen off the board? Like, if I go here, then they... Or no, I mean, I go with the queen. Then they would take, I would take, they would take. And even though that seems dumb, the alternative only seems to be that, you know what you could also do is just move the rook. Setting up for like an unleash there as well. Move the rook, then the queen comes in, then I go there. But then they come down. And then I still go up, but I don't know if I want to mess with that. If I move the rook here, they come in there. I go over. Then they come down, then I go up, then they check or something with that. They bring like a light. I don't know. It seems like a mess. Like, why even allow it? But then again, I might, because something bad could happen though. See, there's no reason to do any of this. Like, I might be losing a pawn, but... Or I can't even move the queen there because of the bishop. You know what? Let's try it. I'm feeling adventurous, even though I'm kind of probably throwing the game. There's always like the one move that you miss with this. Like, it's not a mate, but now if you like raise that, I can easily take it. So it's not that I didn't see this. Now we're attacking the queen. So what do? You have to immediately give a check, otherwise you're in tremendous trouble. In fact, your queen almost can't even get out of there. Like, you go back, and then if only my dark square bishop was developed. Even as terrible as that seems, now they can like pin this, but they don't have the luxury to do that. So was that really worth it, I wonder? And the answer is that I really don't know. So I'd want to almost pull the king back. But see, now there might have been something good that actually opens up. Like, now is a moment where this turn you could switch the tide and say, okay, now I'm going to become aggressive and do something, but I'm still not going to develop that. But what I am going to... See, like, I could just ignore everything and I could say, okay, I'll take. But then they'll bring in the rook, because I have that double diagonal, so I could take. But what I'll do is I will actually... I kind of want to move the king under here. But I could be missing an important developing move, because I could always do that later. Like, there's nothing stopping it. No, but they'll pin first, so I better just do it. Now they could come here if that pawn isn't there, so maybe there's something... I don't know. But no, if they come back, I could also unleash. So they can't come here. They can't come here. They can't come here. So they're actually kind of stuck. Because the one intuitive move to get out of there is come here, right? Where he was. But then I'll do that cheeky little unleash where I take the queen, because I give a check with the bishop. Which they'll still get an 8 for 9 trade from that, because they'll take that. And then they'll also take the rook back. It was actually not that big of a deal. We have a good threat, obviously, with the double diagonal, which... Again, maybe a better player would have had the confidence to already have done that, but you know what's funny about that move too? What I was just talking about, the same threat actually is relevant here. I can do the same thing. I can take, they take, and then I take for free because that rook isn't covered. Look at that. Look at that. I guess you could choose not to take. You could go there, but then I'll still take it. So it'll be a trade. So that's the same idea that we just had. It won't be a check, I guess, but that's very cute because you. Yeah, I love that because you're getting rewarded for some kind of other threat that you otherwise. I thought I actually missed something there, but it's fine. So now everything is settled down. Sometimes you tunnel vision and you think you have something, but you really don't, or you miss something. But I'm still playing like a little too fast and cocky and something. But see, now you should just win the game because of that, especially if I just settle things down and I can basically guarantee the trade, but no, I can't. I could try to give a check here. I could also take a pawn here. I have to be careful about some imminent threat. But the beauty of this position is the fact that the beauty of this position is the simple fact that they can't really take anything, and the pathways to the king are very limited. So I don't feel actually that under threat. I could give a check here, so I can take one of two pawns. I could check here and then take this, or I could take this. I'm not I'm not sure which one's actually better. I'm down to 21 minutes. He's at 27. Yeah, I think I played okay, but I've also kind of left it to chance a little bit where I really can't decide which one would be better to take. This one is like a center pawn. That one is obviously a side pawn, but it's right with the king. So now his king's going to be extremely vulnerable. Their follow-up move would be limited because they bring the rook there, but they can't even. They'll attack with this, but then they can't because I could just take it. I give this check. What opens up? It's a double stack. Oh, their movements are very limited though. Let me actually do that first because you have. They go to the back rank, I could check them. If they go to the dark square, I can raise and develop for free. So they'll block with the pawn. Now I could check from here, and then they're forced to go back, and then I could give a check like with the rook there. And so at that point, that's actually mate, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, but they'll go. Damn it. They'll go. I'll go here. Right, okay, I'll check, and then they'll go back, and then I'll give a check with that. Then they'll block with the thing. They'll block with the he'll block with the dark square bishop itself. So the bishop is on f8, the king is on g8, the queen is on this, and the rook is there. What do I do at that point? Nothing of mine is under threat, but I can't do anything because then they'll give a check again. If only the stupid dark square bishop was actually developed, this would be so good. But that's a damn near mate, and it does tie up their pieces a lot. Like, I'll still do, well... They have no, like, attacking move here, so let me use this move to actually develop. But see, I could just take a pawn. Like, why wouldn't I just do that? Because they'll bring the bishop and then pin me. Wow, dude. Alright, fine, I'll do this. I can't explain exactly what's going on, but if they move the bishop, I could take the pawn here. But there's so many free pawns that I maybe could have taken that I just chose not to take. And it seemed like I almost had a mate there, but there was like one thing missing, one piece missing. Okay, this is not something I really thought about, but it's not really doing anything for now. So now I could do this with impunity. I can take this threatening like a mate. And the reason why I can do that is because of the simple fact that even if you do the pin I take, you take, I still take. So now some mate is in incoming. I can't do the back rank check anymore. I can still do this check if I need to escape from something. So now if you try to do that block that I was talking about before, I would take, you would take, I would still take. Or, I mean, I guess I was wrong. I could have always taken with the rook, so I missed that. But this is why Classical is good, because it gives you the... Oh, something's bugged out with my battery, because it was just fully charged and now it's already red. I was wondering that too. I was saying before, like, how... like... It seems like the battery life is only like 5 hours compared to like 10, but now it's already in the red. It could just be a sensor issue, but I don't even use it for that long. So like, now if I give it a check here, you're just made it. That's it. You can't do anything. It's literally made because you can't go back. It's literally made. Let me just double check. You can't block. You're just done. Yeah, just in time before the very shitty 1 hour battery life. But no, I just full charged it yesterday. So something is really weird with this. How could it be? So he's 1656. That was a pretty easy, convincing kind of game that almost makes me want to do another, but let's not do a 30-minute one. Let's do like a maybe 10-minute or unrated or RS Prince 1 minute per move. There's all these people on the app itself, like Square Off itself. So yeah, so the one thing that's going to cuck me is the battery life. What if I want to do a long session with this? Not that I've really done that so far, but I literally will play for like 1 hour each time. And now I know for sure that something's wrong with it because I literally just charged it fully last night and then I just put it on right now. So full charge, it's already in the red in like one game. And I understand classical games go on for a long time, but not that long. Like literally, that wasn't even that long of a game. Yeah, see, that's the kind of win you want. I was kind of aggressive there in a way that maybe I shouldn't be, but when you just win a free piece like that, it's very easy to be, but I still am often passive in that way. How can I actually check my battery life anyway? Like the light doesn't give you a ton of feedback, so it'll just be like, let me check something. I like this habit though of playing like one classical game a day, but I don't know if I always am going to have time for that, or like that's the only thing I do then. But yeah, this has been sort of my New Year's series for chess, is just doing it this way, returning to classical, which was kind of a little unexpected. At first I was thinking I would just do rapid on here like I've been doing, but it doesn't work as well, so then it kind of encouraged me to do this. So let me see something with the battery. It could just be a bug with the display of it, I would hope, but white declines draw 1227. Yeah, it was right around Christmas, or it was actually on Christmas that I used it. I got it like a week before, but I almost want to play people on here, but I don't get it because I don't want to accidentally play like a rated game on a site. Like, okay, RS Prince 1 minute per move. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what this game is. But he challenged me, so let's see. And I doubt they really know who I am in that sense. Like, oh, because I'm a streamer. Like, it's just, I'm on the app and probably nobody else uses it. Oh, see, now my battery's higher. Yeah, it's just bugged out. It was showing in the red, now it's showing. But this is like a correspondence game, so maybe he just won't even play. And in that case, how do I even use it? Because it'll bug out. It'll, like... I don't get it. I don't like to abort. Like, what if I want to leave now and do it? Forget it. Only after draw in your turn. Resign game. Just play, but don't quit. But in what context was that game played? Like, was that it doesn't make it super clear. Was that a square off rated game? Was it some other kind of thing? Like, I don't know. 1482 ELO. This is like based on the again on the square off metric. Game history, so it's only showing that, and then if I go to Lichess, I'll actually look up what is my rating right now. I love the visual feedback of this, but like I said, I'll try to invest in a clock where I can actually do that. And then I was being advised by him yesterday or the day before that one of my viewers that it should be like higher, but I don't really understand how to do that with my position. Even if it was higher, it's like I don't know, my webcam is just so shitty I can't really worry about it, but no, I actually like my use of the webcam that I'm always so inventive with it. Like, I don't do it for face cam. On the contrary, I'll do it for like the Kindle Scribe where I was doing like a writing stream and you could watch me do it. Or like I use all these little gimmicks, either this or the real chessboard, or you can even see in the background there the Rubik's Cube. So, like I'm giving it such actual valid purpose that otherwise you wouldn't have. Like, I could have almost done another one, but if we win one that quickly, we should just use it as a sign to not even worry because then I'll go on a bad streak. Like, there's something about chess like that. When you win, you get cocky. When you lose, you get cocky. Or, I mean, when you win, you get cocky. When you lose, you get burned out. Or even when you win and you're not cocky, you'll get kind of exhausted and then you'll end up losing the next one. Like, you can't always try to force yourself to do that. So I got 29 rating for that. He was a 1656. I'm still considered provisional, but this might be my highest classical rating ever because if you look at it, oh, it's not counting it though. It's not counting it. My highest rating is still showing up at 1702 because this is still considered provisional. So let me try to do one of two things. Either I'll try to, I guess you could charge it even while you're using it for what it's worth. I just don't have like an outlet around here, but if I was really worried about that, that seems to be one false advertising element maybe about it, is the fact that it says 10 hours battery life, but there's no way it's 10 hours because every time from a full charge, I use it for a couple streams, which is like an hour each. So maybe it's like 3 to 5 hours at most. And then it's pretty much out. So it's more like a 5 hour battery life, not a 10 hour, which is fine. Again, if they were just clear about it, like, this is a rollable one, so you'll take it to the park, you'll take it to a hotel room, you'll take it, wherever, and it's like it's fine, but only thing it's missing really is the magnets, like I said. But I almost want to play people on here and bully them. But let's see, like if we challenge friends, open challenge, custom random game. So again, Lichess, we're 1731. It takes a minute to update on here. That's why the first time I got pissed at, oh, why is my rating the same? Like, did that not count? But it does. And then chess.com, obviously, I don't really use in any meaningful way. It's just kind of there's like a dummy account for now, maybe for variants, which you can't even really do on here. You should really be able to do 960 on here. Because again, I could just manually change that. Well, it would take me a minute at the beginning of the game, but or like even within the app, you should be able to do modes like that because then you're like with other people using the same thing. So it would give you the benefit of the doubt. You have a minute to set up. Square off itself and chess moves. I don't know what chess moves even is. Let's do a 10-minute chess moves game, but it won't actually work is the problem. Right, and the reason why it won't work is because nobody plays on there, and I don't even know what that is, honestly. These are like two default ones that it just starts with, right? There's Chess Moves, there's Square Off, which is the company who makes this, and then there's obviously Chess.com and Lichess, which is good because those are the two main. If it didn't have that functionality, this thing would be completely negligible, right? Like you need to have that, and even Chess Up sells itself on that oh, it works with Chess.com. Like, well, obviously, like of course it should. Or imagine if Chess.com or one of these sites does like a monopolistic thing where they'll ban this thing from working with it so that they force you to buy the Chess Up, right? Because this won't work with it, so you have no choice. That'd be a really dirty thing to do, which thankfully that it hasn't happened, but. Right, that's horrible because then it's like, oh, chess.com is affiliated with Chess Up, and they might give it all this kind of special support that this obviously won't have. But it's as long as this just connects and works with it. But see, the difference on there is you probably would be able to use it in a lot of different ways, like for variants, for other modes, for tournaments, for this functionality is very limited. You can just queue up for a game with different time formats, and that's it. It is still rated. It does still count. I'm not sure if the queue system is somehow different either. Like if it shows it in the main lobby or if it's doing like a proper matchmaking. But either way, it is a proper rated 30-minute game, so I'm fine with it. Let's do a square off 10-minute game. And presumably all of these are rated. So again, this would be against somebody else either on the app using their phone, which I don't know why you'd be doing that, or somebody using the actual board themselves, which could be possibly a different version of it, like a opponent not found. What I don't like about that search functionality is why does it say that so soon? Like give it a minute. Like even, it took longer to find a classical game on a very populated site like Lichess, so it gives up too quickly saying opponent not found. But again, like let it search for a minute, dude. Like let's try to challenge somebody, I guess, the way that people do to me. There's a few people online. 1895. So we'll challenge them to a 10-minute game, 0-second increment, and it makes me choose whether I play as black or white. But what if I want it to be random? But I'm deferring and even choosing black to show either my confidence or just my willingness to play. So he's 1895 elo, but he's on this inflated garbage app that probably nobody uses. So yeah, this is not exactly the selling point of it, but and I haven't used like the AI features or whatever, but I just love how that's actually the prognostication of these products is like, oh, it lights up. It's a chessboard that lights up, tells you your opponent's move, or it tells you the best move if it's trying to teach you or something like that. Right? The way that Chess Up was trying to be advertised, like, oh, it'll teach you using lights. Like, really, it'll light up the best move. Are you serious? Like, you're really gonna pay $300, $400 for that? Like, oh, it's got pretty lights. Like, you could just do it online, just study online. Like, why is that? You know, the tactile feel of actually playing a game over a board, right, is a little bit different and valuable if you can do it in an online context. But open challenge created. That's for the same guy who's kind of afraid, I guess. The challenge lasts like 3 minutes. I guess I can't really show you any of this, but I guess I don't mind playing like unrated games. It just feels a little bit off because I feel like I like to only play rated games if I can. But then again, I just did that with like I'd rather play a 10-minute game with somebody on here than on the chess, just for whatever reason, just to try this out as something different. But no, as far as rated games, I can only play rated rapid games in tournaments like I've been doing, and that's with the permanent piece set thing where I have to change every time I lose a game and the art and everything. And then I can only play rated classical games on here using the board itself, like I've been doing. Obviously, both are on the chess, but it's just like it's a case where okay, this guy isn't joining. There's got to be some other player base aspect to this. Like 82% users already playing. What does that mean? Even like using the product in general or anonymous? Okay, accept. And again, what I just don't like is I don't know where they're challenging me from. Like what is the format? What is the time? What is anything? There's no time. There's no site. Like just a random dude challenge me. Like who are you? What is the context of the game? Now he can just take forever, right? And like I'll play this one relatively fast, actually. They're playing anonymous. We'll go here. We'll go there. Yeah, we'll play this a little more like a blitz style type of game, but obviously it's presumably unrated. One of these times it's going to cost me something though. It'll be like a Lichess rated game and I just won't know it because it does at least let you do that. Like again, my friend challenged me the other day, a viewer who was able to challenge me through Lichess and I could see it on here and I could still play it on here. So um why does it seem like something's wrong with my thing? It doesn't detect that, but now it'll bug out that I did that. My queen was on the wrong color. So now it'll just bug out the whole game. Amazing. Like, what am I supposed to do? Okay. So it had recognized the queen and the king in reverse. I just can't even do it. I guess I'll just not castle then. Hard mode challenge, but that was my fault somehow. But it should recognize that. Normally it'll correct you. So it couldn't detect that the king and the queen were in the wrong spot at the beginning of the game. Hopefully he plays fast because I don't like to keep aborting these games or resigning them, but it's a situation where they're able to let me try it again. Okay, now it worked. You got a little bit of the sliding quality, which wouldn't happen if it was really on a flat surface, but it does have that folding quality that inherently can keep doing that over time, like if you leave it at the wrong angle or whatever. But it's an impressive piece of technology, but to me the folding aspect is not necessary at all because oh, you're meant to take it to the park or something. Like, why would I do that? Why would I need to do that? Right, what would be the point? I could just take a real board to the park then and presumably play with other people at the park. If I want to play online, then why would I do it? Just as, again, like a conversation starter or like some sort of gimmick that you can show off that you're able to, or yeah, like the really stylish way to capture would be like you bring yours and pick it up and switch it and do it in one motion. But the problem with doing it with this thing is the fact that, um, I messed up already. The reason why you can't do that is because it'll sometimes bug out. But like, yeah, you do it in one motion, you pick up both, and then you put one away as you lay the other one down. Or there is like a meta aspect to it where you people would practice like, oh, trying to move pieces as physically quickly as possible. Like back in the Russians versus Bobby Fischer, we got to figure out like what happened. Okay, that was my fault. I made the wrong move. I thought he double pushed it somehow. Sometimes it's just that the pieces are misaligned too. And I am following generally the touch move rule as well. So this is just bugged out. Okay, dude. Okay. There's no time control in this game, so see like this. You pick up this, but then you pick up that in one motion, and then you put it down all together. You don't have to like pick it up and do it like I was saying before. Pick it up and then try to put it away and then move yours, but whatever, just to be extra careful as far as how this works. It would be okay, let's go here. We can double attack with this diagonal there on the pawn, even though it's not it's adequately covered. Yeah, this game is much lower stakes, but whatever, we'll just chill and do it. And I already messed up in the opening in a way that they could have probably punished me if they wanted to. Go here. Sometimes the lights can be a little hard to see, but that's just the nature of, the other side of the board is going to be like that. We go here. I should develop the bishop as well, and then everything is fine. This is kind of a very messy position that we have. Yeah, the day that the chess gets bought out by chess.com is the day that you're going to see the total death of online chess because it's going to be so monopolized that I think they've actually tried to do it in the past, but since it's a free site, they don't even have any interest in doing that. But it's sad that there's only two major sites like that. You would expect there to be, well, major being the key word. Just even Chess 24, it wasn't that big of a deal. But even that was bought out by chess.com, and then they kind of castrated it where they just don't let you play on there anymore at all. So that was really like, oh, we're trying to get rid of our competition, even though that wasn't very strong competition for what it is. It was, a site that people made fun of. Oh, why is it called Chess 24? Because 20, that's how many people play on there. Or I had a joke for each of them. FIDE online arena, more like FIDE offline arena because nobody plays on it and it's garbage. Or just play offline like in an actual FIDE over the board tournament. They try to advertise the titles you get on there like it's a big deal. Like, oh, it's I don't know, pay for the right to play on here and then you'll be recognized as an online grandmaster or something. Even though you still have to earn the rating, it's like I don't know, it's just kind of dumb. And then you have the ability, so FIDE offline arena, then you have Chess 24 because that's how many people play on there. And then Chess is like someone from the United States plays on Chess for the first time. And I thought my inflation was bad, is what they would say, because it's so inflated. And then chess.com would be like, uh, what would I make fun of with that? Like, just, I guess it was the less popular sites that I made fun of. There was definitely another one, though. But yeah, just like chess.com is sort of either there's a lot of cheaters on there, although theoretically that could be anywhere, or even the fact that you have the fact that you basically have the ability to pay us $4.99 to be able to analyze games, or buy premium to just be able to analyze games that you could do for free on some external site. There's countless sites that you can do that using the same engine, maybe a better engine. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on Lichess for free, you can do it anywhere. So it's like you'll have Lichess open in another tab after the game to analyze the game you just played on chess.com, so you don't have to buy premium, and it'll work just pretty much as well. Like, I don't know. Though they do have some very impressive variants that I didn't realize actually how many they had. As somebody who always liked variants back in the day, either they didn't have some of those then, or I just didn't actually look fully at the list. I would just play Chaturanga a lot and just assume it. But there's literally like hundreds on there that I almost couldn't even figure it out when I was trying to do. In fact, I never finished it. I was doing like a permadeath variant gauntlet. That's such a fun format where I play every variant in a row, right, until I lose a game, and then I move on to the next one. So that's like my dream chess format that I've always, that's the kind of thing I always wanted to do, but instead I got distracted by the fact of I felt like I have to earn the right to play variants by getting to 2000 first and like a normal thing, which shouldn't have been this difficult. But the point is that it is an amazing experience because again, you go through every single variant and until you lose a game, then you move on to the next one. If you get a draw, you get another chance. So basically, you have to lose, obviously. So yeah, we went through literally like hundreds of variants, is what it felt like, over a very long period of time. And even though I didn't finish it, the format is still fun, and I could still continue it, or I could redo it someday. It's kind of like what I did in Hearthstone with all those fun kind of gimmick decks. I didn't finish it necessarily, but I got through pretty much every class besides maybe Rogue, which I skipped. They just vanished out of my mind like a Rogue would do. And then also the other, like Death Knight and Demon Hunter, which were like the newer classes. So I somehow skipped the classes that I don't really care for anyway, but it was a very good gimmick, using sort of fun decks that aren't necessarily the best. But no, this makes me think of like with a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of mat or something. You could play like a card game and physically put the cards down where you want them to go, like, and it'll register, and it'll make like a hologram of the monster for you, like how they actually use it in the show. But obviously, you don't need all those kind of stupid things. But that would be the analogy to this: is you could make a mat. Even as dumb as the idea sounds. Oh my god. Even as dumb as the idea sounds, or that's the kind of thing that we need to. One day it'll be a big deal, or people would actually love it because it's like, you can play Magic, and if you have your Magic collection of cards, you can put it down, and it'll register it either online or it'll register it in some capacity with some feedback, visual feedback. It'll track everything for you, all the life points or whatever that you have to worry about. But no, this is a perfect example of like a gimmick sort of gift item that you would give. Like, oh, somebody likes chess, so you buy them the chess up, and then they never use it, or they don't use it much. Or I've actually gotten a pretty good amount of use for it, whether that be because I just don't want to feel like I wasted $200 on it. But I do like this, that it's given me the motivation to play classical again, and it's sort of a a good gimmick. It's always a good use of the webcam and stuff like this where you're just trying to flesh it out a little more. It's still effectively the same thing I was doing anyway, right? It's just a little better visual feedback and everything. So what's he doing? I can't even see it. You go here, and then you go create a rarely seen triple stack. We're hitting the pawn. You just have to develop those kind of good habits, which classical does for you more so than anything else, or I guess correspondence could, but like where you just double check everything, right? Half the mistakes or losses in low rated chess sub 2000 is either, oh, just the opening that you do something dumb that you could have seen or that you don't know, you haven't studied. And then also the fact that you have, the fact that you basically have, you haven't studied, you don't know opening, so you make a mistake in the opening, something like that, or you also just don't double check your moves, like something fairly obvious that not that anybody could see, but that literally you could have seen or that you would have seen. But like I always do that in Rapid or something. I'll see it right as soon as I do it. So it's like it's not that you're missing it, you're not even really looking for it. That's the difference. Right? You're not even really thinking, you're not even really paying attention, double checking everything. It's just not a real thing that you're putting forth any good amount of effort. We have potentially the free pawn there. We have the free pawn, and we have the ability to also take the we can do the triple stack, which probably is not going to be very good. But in fact, we already have something kind of cute because, well, let me do it first though. So now like I can push the bishop out, and then even if you take, I can like triple. No, it wouldn't matter though, because if the king's covered, like I would take, they would take, I would take, they would take, I would take, but then they would still take with the king at the end. The king is always like the equalizing final force that if you have that, then you can never match it in terms of the number of covers. Right? It always gives you like that one extra cover that makes it impossible to break through certain structures of pawns or whatever. Or whatever, not necessarily pawns, just like other pieces. Like I could totally punish them here if not for the king's cover. In fact, I could probably still do it because of this. Well, if they could just put the bishop here though, and then secret way to beat me though is to just stop playing because this game doesn't have a time format, so I'm not gonna wait forever, so I'll just resign or something. So that's cute, but they can't do anything with it. And the reason why they can't do anything with it is because if you do this, then I have a lot going on there, and so it should be pretty punishing for you regardless. They might do a cheeky move like push a pawn, but how did the angle of this change so much? Like now it's looking at the webcam, it's like so diagonal. I feel like it wasn't like that at the beginning. So now you're attacking that. If he moves it anywhere, I can punish them in some way. Like I would take with my bishop, they take with the pawn, then I double take. Or even if they don't do that, you go somewhere else, then I can just take and check. Then they take back. Then I take again with the queen, and I check, and it's almost mate. Go here. I can't actually take the bishop though. Is one problem with this. That's something I actually didn't entirely consider. They would take, I would take, they would take, I would take, they would still take. So this actually didn't work to my favor at all. Huh. Okay, I guess I'll go here for now. So now, if they take the pawn, I take with the pawn. They take with the bishop, I take with the rook. They take with the queen, I take with the queen. And now I can actually take the pawn too, or even the bishop, obviously. Makes more sense. Even without the queen, you have a triple threat on there. And again, if they bring the bishop, I take, they take, then I can double take the rooks. But it doesn't matter because they can still double cover, once again, because of the king's cover. They take here. This is where the magnets get. Oh, I thought the magnets were only with the same color though. Last time I tested that. Okay, we should do this then. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm play testing this, where I have to give advice on how to use it. Like, and presumably this might apply to other boards like this, like chess up and stuff. But like, always pick up your opponent's piece first before you move yours to capture it. Don't clang them together. Don't confuse it. Then also don't drag the pieces. Then also don't what's the other thing? Don't play blitz or bullet, obviously. But what was the other thing? Like, don't drag it. Don't knock them against each other. Just pick up theirs first, and then. Oh yeah, castling, always move the king first because it'll bug out and say, oh, you move the rook to f3 or whatever, or I mean f1 because f3, you know, because you're able to, you know, even now I don't need to worry about the thing because you have the ability to, if you take, I can double take. Not that that entirely favors me anyway, but I could do like a cheeky, sneaky thing first. First of all, I could take the rook there, but I could also give a check with the queen. Like something better could happen here. If I give that check with the queen, what happens? What happens is probably going to be good. I'll just do it anyway. You do it there, and then if you block, I can easily take. If you go behind, that doesn't really change anything. And the reason why it doesn't change anything is because they would still have an adequate amount of cover, so that just doesn't do anything for me. If I double take now, I'll be able to check again. Now they'll take this pawn here, obviously. I'll just do it anyway. This is my lazy trading tendency. There's certainly something better there. Or see, I almost pulled it short. I almost just did exactly what I said. I don't drag it. I let it lay low, too low early. So they're in a check. Obviously, they're going to go there. I literally just almost botched it. Because then you'd move it like a square short, and then they'll just take it for free, right? That can happen. Now I'm holding like too many at once here. I have this whole table just for these pieces because they're both, first of all, so big, but second of all, they are able to also do, they're also able to, like, be magnetic and kind of annoying, so. Just queen versus queen, I don't even know exactly what I'm up by. They can take this pawn here. But I can now take this one, or maybe I can't even. Maybe now I can't even get back. Because now they'll cover it and I can sort of spam checks, but I could just check again from like here and then come back. So I have they have 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually not even up by anything. Or wait, they moved, but it didn't show me that. That's weird. You try to bait for a draw, which is pretty much what you're gonna get anyway, but I think this pawn on the king side is a little bit too important. Right, where I wouldn't want them to do it and give a check, so I'll try to cover that instead. Even though I could take some own pawns the other way. Let me play it safe for a minute. Or wait. What? Wait, why is that not a legal move? You can totally do that. It almost made me make an illegal move. I was going to go in front of the king, but then it bugged out, so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll change it. So literally, doesn't matter, but at least that's a check, so I would have liked to have... These kind of positions are always just so boring. Like, are we really doing this right now? Let's try to move this up so that you're able to check there, I guess, but I can still cover it. You have three pawns on that side, one pawn versus one pawn. I could have taken one of the pawns, but again, this side seems too dominant for them. Then they'd have one passed pawn, and the king on that side, so they could maybe promote that a little bit easier. One thing I don't like about this setup is the mic is a little at an awkward position, so I have to like project more, and it makes it a little harder to do sometimes. Go here, go here. You got to get in a position where they can't give checks, and then you can actually try to do something, but it felt like I was better than him. Like I say this maybe in every game, and it felt like both better as a player and better in the position, but somehow the one move seemed to bug out, and it didn't show their move actually on here. So sometimes I'll just be looking at the board and waiting, and then if that happened, I'll be losing time, and it was already my move. But I'll trust that it's going to work. Okay, we can accept that it's a draw, like, just chill out, bro. So if you don't do it, then I can take the black pawn here. And you could cover it, I mean... In fact, this is pretty bad, because if they just go there, then they can hit this, and then I have no way to actually cover it. But then again, if they do take it, okay, fine. Now I'll be an endgame master anaconda chess personality type, like I say, where I can squeeze the water from the stone like Magnus. We can even mime that ability like we're squeezing it. You can do real life emotes. I'm doing real life emotes before I ever made proper emotes on my channel because I'm just too lazy to do it. So you got to figure out what the best path is here. These two connected pawns are really the strength that I have. If there was a difference, I still think it's totally a drawn position, but one move here can mess it up for either of us. So like, we assume that these two equalize each other out and we'll just both head the other way. But I'm not entirely sure about that. You got to make it so your king can get through and theirs can't, but that's easier said than done, especially because even if I try to like seal this off, like I raise this and I seal it off, he can't come through the light square, but he can come through the dark square. So then he'll go there and then attack it. Like, let's just go forward and then can't push me out, and then I'll start moving my pawns if I have to. It'd be pretty, in a way, I don't want to move this one because then see, if I move it up, then he can come in and then go here and take it at some point if my king's not there. Whereas now, even if my king's not there, wait, what? Oh, see, it's so hard to see these lights sometimes. All right, so we'll go and we'll try to... I'll just inch my pawns up a little bit, so at some point he might have to make a move he doesn't want to make. So yeah, see, even if my thing wasn't there, he could raise that, but he can't come through here at all, right? This part. So even if this is here, my king isn't there, he comes across, but he can't come down. So this becomes like the simple counting game of like... Yeah, see, now he couldn't come through. So that's very valuable because his own pawn blocks it. So this is the principle you have to work with. So this pawn is fine maybe where it is, if he moves it up or not. I guess now he could come in front and then go there. I wouldn't say that I necessarily should win this, but I will say that it's if I move this up here, I would take, you would take, I would still take. Like, we could do a double exchange here, but I kind of don't want to even. I'll do this, but I somehow don't think this actually favors me at all. Or again, it's going to end up being a draw. Nothing's stopping him from just doing the same thing over and over. But again, he can't come through, he can't come through. So now my king can be a little bit adventurous. And the reason why is because his king is totally blocked out. Whereas mine is maybe not quite so bad, but it could turn into that. So if he raises this, I take for free. The problem is there are no advancing or threatening king moves that I can make. And the reason why I can't do that is because... You know, oh, I don't want to go back there, but he's not going to let me. So there's really nothing. Let's just get a draw. Very fun, very exciting. Nothing I can do. I mean, it's just stupid. I'll do this even though it's a bad move, and I might lose because of it. But see, if he tries to go that side, then oh, maybe I'm wrong because now he's in such a position, king opposition, that he can't do anything, so he has to go back. And wait, what? No, that still didn't do anything. Oh, see, I should just lose the game there because I just made an illegal move, like shogi style. So there's literally still nothing you can do, so I don't really get it. But again, you're not in a position where you're putting pressure that he has to make a bad move. He could just do nothing and it's fine, right? There is no sense of the king being forced to move being a bad thing. Are we gonna get a threefold repetition or what? It should have been by now. Yeah, there's just no stopping him right now. Bro. I don't even mind, but it's like draws are more annoying than losses because everybody loses. So the draw lights up both sides. The win will light up one side, I guess. All fancy when there's a mate or something. Right, this is more like a stale color. That's like kind of flickering all around like crazy.